that held you up a little bit over here. That was nice of it.
The problem is he's so fast on the straight and slow on the corner. But I guess that's a practice.
Yeah. How's the car feel with the lower tire pressure?
Feels better on the low speed, but not as good on the high speed.
Okay, so we'll leave them where they are.
Yeah.
Just leave them where they are.
Although the only thing I'm curious, is there a pressure difference
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone tonight? Sorry, I had two hats on there. I don't know why. My kid was playing with me or something. Anyway, what is new, ladies and gentlemen? So we got $4.99 right out of the gate from Agrillipus. Good to see you, sir. And thank you for the $5. American. Perfect. Awesome. We've got On the Case International Harvester and Doomerang also in the house, and who knows who else will be joining us. I am firing up just a touch early tonight because I may have to dive off. Also a touch early tonight, and I've got a lot going on tomorrow. I've got to get up like super early. At any rate, just wanted to do just a chill Wednesday really quick. You know, we're just going to cool out. It's been hot here, like 90 degrees plus. It's hot. And, just getting into that summer, man. And, in summer, once the weather warms up, obviously the next thing you got protest. You got people out there with nothing better to do than be a problem to other normal folk. And for whatever reason, these people just can't seem to get it through their stupid, thick skulls that nobody wants any of their nonsense. And yet they just keep trying. Oh, well, it is what it is. So before I go too much further, we just, we don't have very many people in here tonight. It looks like we've got quite a lot of people live right now out there in the internets, and that's fine. If you're wandering over here from there, thank you. And if not, that's okay too. Nothing like protest season. What's up, Mullet Baby 01? And what's up, Duck? Yeah, the living is easy right now, and it's very interesting. I think, we've got a bunch of people who are living off of the largesse of America. And the best they can do is throw rocks at it. It's insane. It's absolute insanity, folks. To be honest with you, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm never going to understand it. If you understand it, I'm really sorry. But the one thing I will say, and I'll probably repeat this several times throughout the podcast tonight, however long it lasts, is We all saw, if you saw this movie in 2011 with Aaron Eckhart, it's called Battleground LA. And it was about aliens who invaded LA and had to fight against the Marines. Didn't work out well for them. Not much at all. What's up, Kissy Cat? Hi, good to see you. I honestly, I feel remiss, Kissy Cat. I keep meaning to check on you when I pop on in the mornings or in the afternoons. Make sure you're okay. I understand you're going through a lot. Unfortunately, I'm so damn busy. I just hadn't had time. So I apologize. I know you're going through a tough time and my thoughts are with you. So, just want to let you know. At any rate, so Battleground LA, man. It was a really, it's something that, shows us that, aliens should not battle Marines on U.S. soil. What's up? Are we not minions? Yeah, I had to jump on a little early. I've got a lot going on. It's just really, really. I'm really, really busy right now. I've got. I actually have to get up like super, super early tomorrow morning and run all over the damn place. It is what it is. No lawn mowing stream. I actually don't mow my own lawn anymore. I have a child for that. He gets paid accordingly, and then the lawn gets done. So that's how that works. So anyway, it's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, all of the various nonsense that's going on out there, but it just seems, obviously it's always in the usual places, right? We can admit that. I hope we're friends here. We can admit that. And there just seems to be this like culture in America of people who have nothing better to do than be professionally offended. And I'm kind of getting offended at these people being professionally offended. And I hope you are too, because at the end of the day, you just can't make this shit up. Yeah. And in other news, well, most people are idiots. We keep trying to gloss over that little fact, but the fact remains that most people are complete dumbasses. And they're only alive because the modern society is so easy that you have to really fuck up to have actual consequences in life. I mean, you really have to fuck up. You can be unemployed for years and eat just fine. No problem. Somebody somewhere is going to help you. Somebody. It wasn't always that way, It used to be that if you failed, you failed. And you actually failed. Shit was real. You could die. You could cease to exist. Not anymore. We have this Sears Roebuck extra premium #1 best net to catch everyone. The biggest safety net ever invented. The biggest safety net that anyone ever thought of. There's absolutely no reason for anyone to be upset, because why? People like me are going to get up and we're going to do the right thing, and then we're going to pay for all your bullshit. Not you guys. You guys are tops, but I'm talking about the other bullshit. And women are getting just as bad. I haven't really talked a whole lot lately about feminism or patriarchy or we've been so busy talking about life and worldviews and things like that. But I kind of haven't given a good old fashioned sermon on why people are fucked up in this world. But it might as well. We'll get there this evening. Welcome, Beth Mayhew. Thank you for jumping in. And K2, keep on trucking. Good to see you out there. So I read this thing in my local my local forums on Facey Space, Facebook, whatever they call it now. And one of my longtime friends, I've known this dude for like 30 fucking years, man. 30 years. Long time. And he's a guy who, I don't want to say self-made man, because none of us truly make ourselves. I mean, we should admit that out of the gate, that we're not actually self-made. It's closer to the truth to say that we're, if anything, we're at best made in the image of our parents. We're part of that viewpoint that our parents embodied into us, right? And this fellow, because it's giving season here in the South where I'm from, and now all of the single moms, all of the or pretend single moms, and pretend moms, to be honest with you, will come out of the woodwork, and the charity will run deep. It's going to run deep. And one of my friends opined, and I think rightfully so, that women wouldn't need this extra help if they were married. They wouldn't need this extra help if they weren't single moms in the first place. Maybe they should have gotten married. Maybe they shouldn't have gotten knocked up. Maybe all of these things. And he opined that, and I think that's a reasonable observation. I think that we all, most of us that should be listening to this show, understand what actions result in a newfound bundle of joy, a baby, if you will. And we understand it. And I think that we're intellectually honest enough to say that, well, we did the crime, we'll do the time. Not all people are like that, ladies and gentlemen. They just aren't. And so he opines that maybe these women should not be single mothers. I think that's I think that I don't have a problem with him opining that. But someone else did. And they had to opine that their church took care of all of these single moms, and without the help, these single moms would be in a lot of trouble, and that blah blah blah, and all can't make it, single income, paying rent, paying for a car payment, paying for all these things, which I'm certain is true. And but never any mention of, hey, wouldn't have that problem if you weren't a single mom. You wouldn't have that, you wouldn't be in this situation if you had been a little more careful in life, maybe a little purpose. But you can't say that anymore, folks. You can't say anymore that, hey, be accountable to yourself, be responsible, and don't be stupid. The problem I have with all of this, to be honest with you, is that we allow stupid people to continuously be stupid And I mean dumb. I mean absolutely stupid. To the point that it affects everyone's life around them. And rather than say, hey, dumbass, stop that shit. What do? Fucking rescue them. We throw them the lifeline. We throw them a lifeline. We throw them we throw them the we take from responsible people who have made the right decisions, made the right choices, done the hard things, made the mistakes and learned from them. All of those people, we take from those people and we give to the fucking idiots. Does that mean that I'm against charity? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I give of myself freely. I help people out all the time. It has been accurately said, not by me, I'm repeating this. It has been accurately said that I would give you the shirt off my back if you needed it more than I did, and I didn't think that you were trying to put one over on me. If you were sincere, if you really did need my shirt more than I did, I give it to you. I give you money. I give you a ride somewhere. But we've removed society from that. We've removed you and I, folks. Now it's organizations. Now it can't be entrusted to us little people, you know. I don't know if you know that. You can't trust these things. You can't trust us little people with important things like charity. You know? You can't do that. So as I'm watching my friend opine about how that, you know, sure, single moms need help, and sure, that's a mighty fine thing to endeavor, you know. Why is it the rest of society's fault that you're an idiot? Why is it? Sorry, folks, I'm looking for the right pair of glass. I didn't bring the right pair of readers with me, and now I'm suffering because of it. I do apologize. There we go. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. The church, neighbors, not society, not people being relieved of their tax dollars to provide for that. Also, my solution is that we should teach young women and young men to be responsible. That's my solution. I don't know about anybody else's solution. That's my solution. You don't have to like my solution. My solution may not work for you, but that's my solution. I'm teaching my young man to be a good young man and to not do stupid things like knock some chick up. What are you teaching your young men? What are you teaching your young women? What do you believe? Do you believe it's okay? Do you believe that people are just going to be people and you can't do anything about it? Well, that's bullshit. We did something about it for 2,000 years. I mean, I like a good dose of bullshit as much as the next guy, but let's be intellectually honest here that we've created a culture of fucking scavengers. And people, men and women both, a large number of women who are completely predatory in life. Completely. I know that wasn't probably the answer you wanted, but that's the answer I got. Nothing? Yeah. I understand. I really haven't talked about feminism and how it we've really, in the US at least, we've really ruined society to a large degree. Beth Mayhew, I'm sorry that you're on the road for so long. 2.5 hours is no joke. I'm a cross country driver myself. Matter of fact, I need to make a quick trip to Kansas at some point. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. By the way, the if you caught the debate on Monday night, I am so sorry. That was the dumbest that was the dumbest prompt and the dumbest debate I've been in yet. I don't know, guys. This is rough. It is rough. So, but it was rough. It was a rough debate, mainly because the prompt sucked, as always. It was just really jackassery, 100%. I'm hoping tomorrow goes a lot better. By the way, guys, before I forget, because I'll try not to, but before I forget, tomorrow I'm gonna try and do my day shift show. I may not make it because I've got to, like I said, I have to get up at dark 30. I have to get up at really, really early in the morning and drive, not real far, but kind of far. It just was. I got a lot going on, and then when I get back, I'm planning on doing the show, the day shift show, but it may not happen. However, I will be live somewhere around 5:30 or 6 o'clock with my son, or pardon me, with the debate through Admiral Gibbs. And this is not, I don't think this is a real debate. This is more like a roundtable discussion. It is mostly conservatives, but they're libertarian conservatives. There's a bunch of different cool kids that are going to be a part of that. And it looks like it's going to be a great show. We'll see how that works. Gibbs had Wick on today. That's unfortunate. What's up, Michelle? How are you? Good to see you. Don't get to see Michelle around here very much anymore, so I hope you're well. I know that you were not feeling very good. Arthur Dyer, the people are so it's interesting because Scott's really pretty bright. And Lactoid, he's an attorney. He can be bright. But after that, man, I tell you, look, Sociologic, he's a nice guy. He's pleasant. Just not really the deal. Doobie's always disingenuous and will lie straight to your face. I don't like that. Corey Campbell's useless. Prime inserts himself, even though he's supposed to be the moderator. I mean, look, it's just a shit show. I don't know why I go on there. Yeah, update me. That'll be great. And I always like updates. But it's just terrible. What's up, effing epic? Well, we got a full set of losers now that you're here. That's what's up. So that's anyway. So the debate Monday night, it sucked. I know, you don't have to tell me. It just sucked, and there's nothing I could do about that. It really was just bad. It was just bad. Now tomorrow the lineup looks really good. So we're gonna have, it's gonna be Gibbs and Pentuple and Fabian Liberty is going to be there. I'm going to be there. It's going to be a lot of pretty right wing type dudes. I don't know that it's actually a debate. It's looking like it's more of like a kind of a discussion circle kind of deal. So so that's it. The set looks great. Yeah, I don't have my orange light on. Thank you. When I turn the orange light on, it changes it a little bit. Changes quite a bit actually. So K2 keep on trucking sends in $2. I'm not sad, buddy. You might actually have to. Okay. K2 keep on trucking says, Kissy Cat, where is the milk? I don't know. I'm not touching that one. Well, we'll send them if you do. We'll send them anyway. Because I like it. You're okay. But yeah, it's so yeah, tomorrow should be good. We're gonna see. Liberal Cluck, no, I don't do debates. Tonight's a chill stream. You're welcome to come up and banter if you want. I'll just ask one of the mods to get you the link over in the Discord. Go into the waiting room on the Discord and say, hey, I need a link, and they'll DM you a link. It'll probably be probably Kissy Cat or who else is on? Ghost is on. Smoking Spaceman might get you taken care of. Yeah, you can come up if you want to chat. We're not really debating tonight. This is just really more of a chill. I'm chilling. I'm complaining. I'm ranting. I'm raving. I'm talking a little shit. Just normal stuff. So, yeah. But you don't have to come up either. I mean, it's fine. So went out fishing this morning. It was awesome. Very awesome. I went out. I haven't been able to get my boat out since last fall, and every time I went last year, I caught fish, but I just didn't get able to. I wasn't able to get out like I normally am. If you just want to chill, man, just well, I don't know where to send you for blood tonight, brother. Is Tomato doing anything tonight? I was doing bass fishing today. Yeah. So anyway, so went out on the boat this morning. I got out late, and so I wasn't really expecting to catch much of anything. I do have live scope, but my transponder wasn't working this morning, so I got to actually check that. I think the relay is. I have my live scope on a relay, so it may not be working the way it's supposed to. I probably just need to change the relay out. And there's a really specific way you have to wire that up so you get the best picture. But yeah, I've got live scope. I've got Mega 360. I have enough sonar. I have enough sonar on my boat to find the red October. Let's be honest with you. I will ping you. Anyway, yeah, went out went out on the boat. Again, I haven't been out in probably I haven't been out since last fall. So right out of the gate, boat fires up, everything's great. My jack plate won't go down. It's something electrical. It's there's some corrosion somewhere. Whatever. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going. So I ran to a couple of different spots, threw some stuff out there. I got a pretty good sized largemouth on a drop shot, but I forgot I had 6 pound test as my leader, and I got him to the boat, and I reached down to grab him, and I grabbed the line instead of the fish. And when I grabbed the line, it was right as he dove, and so it was just too much for that 6 pound test, and he broke off and took my hook, took the whole rig. And but it was really funny too, because there was a guy. I pulled up on this place it's a community hole. Everybody knows there are fish there. You could see shad busting everywhere. There was a guy sitting on that hole for like an hour, dude. Like, well, maybe not an hour, like 45 minutes. And I'm sitting over there and I'm retying and I'm just, fucking around, throwing some shit out along the ledge just to see what happens. And I got a couple of small bites, but nothing, they were just like half-assed nips, nothing big. That dude motored out. I worked my way over there and bam, latched into one. And of course I had to go because it was, it was getting time to go. So I pulled the boat out of the water, drug it home, and I'll go down. I'll get out there tomorrow after I get back from Winchester and see what's going on with my jack plate. But yeah, I love fishing, man. It annoys me that I'm not able to get out more. I used to be able, since I'm a retired person, I used to be able to get out at like 7 in the morning. I'd stay out till about 10:30. I'd come back in, hang out, and then I'd go back out at like 5:30 and stay out till 9, 10 o'clock at night and then come back. I just haven't been able to do that, mainly because I've got a show. If I weren't doing this show right now, I'd be on the boat. And as a matter of fact, I may stream from the boat because, I want to do my fishing. Walleye and sauger. Okay. Yeah, we've got walleye and sauger. Matter of fact, a world record walleye was caught in one of the lakes I fish regularly. So, but yeah, I may stream from the boat one day just because I don't want to come home. So I feel like I have enough bandwidth to do it. But yeah, man, it's the boat was cool. Get out on a boat was cool. Couldn't go as fast as normal because of the problem with the jack plate. I could only do like 46, 50. That's pretty slow. But do we have muskie? We have muskie over in West Tennessee or East Tennessee. So not where I'm at. The water's just a touch too warm usually. But we have hybrid, stripe, walleye, sauger. We used to have bowfin. I hadn't seen bowfin in a long time. And we used to have chain pickerel, which is a kind of a pike. But I hadn't seen a chain pickerel caught in probably 20 years. I'm sure there's still some out there, but I hadn't seen it. We got a lot of gar. We have alligator gar, speckled gar, all kinds of gar. Gar, matey. So, boats and hose videos, nah. But anyways, that's what I did today, and it was cool. It was chill. It's all right, and had a great time. how's the trout? We don't well. So East Tennessee has pretty good trout habitat. Where I'm at, they release trout 3 or 4 times a year, and really they're just there for people to catch. But they'll stock the creeks and rivers with trout, and there for about a week you'll catch trout left and right, and then they're gone. So, but yeah. Yeah, this is I'm in the South, man. You know, we basically have all of the species of bass. So I have a javelin actually. So it's an interesting story. This is actually a really good story about how people should do things. That's where I'm at. It's Percy Priest. I was on Percy Priest this morning. Yeah, so I have a javelin. They were made local to me. They're in my hometown, or they were, and so I have a javelin. It's a Renegade 20. All right, Ducks. We'll see you. So I started out. I was going to go buy a new nitro. So I told my wife I wanted a boat when we moved back here, and she's like, "You'll never use it. You'll never go to the lake. You'll never. Why bother?" Right? I'm like, "No, I'm telling you, if I get a boat, I'm gonna be on the water all the time. I'm just telling you right now." So she's like, "Nah, you won't." So I went out and I bought this ebb tide little like old boat, man. This thing's like a 88 or 89. I was an old boat, like a 70 horsepower motor on. It's like a 15.5 foot boat. And I was on that thing like all the time, but the boat was really small. And I took my wife out on it, and she's like, "This is too small." And I'm like, "It is too small." And so then, you know, when she saw that I was actually going to be out on the water all the time, she's like, "Okay, you can buy a boat." So I started looking, and it came down really between the Skeeter and the Nitro. Both of them handle rough water better than a Ranger. They're faster than a Ranger. And I just liked it better than the Ranger. Camus was too expensive. I mean, I can go down the list of why I didn't buy what I didn't buy. So I had the cashier's check sitting on my table to go buy a brand new Nitro Z21. At that time, that boat, the way I wanted it rigged, was about 68,000, I think is what it was. And that's a lot of money for a bass boat, I thought. And I had it sitting on my nightstand. I was getting ready. I was going to go the next morning and go buy it, just cash money. And I was hoping that they had one there. If they had one there, I'd take it with me. If not, I'd order it. And then Providence happens. And what happened is I started watching these videos by these guys called Matt and Tim at Tactical Bassin. These are some dudes in California. I'd heard of them before, and I'd seen like 1 or 2 of their videos, but what I was doing is I was searching for videos on how to rig my new boat, and I'm watching Tim and I'm watching these guys, and they're talking about how they don't buy new boats. They buy old boats, the proven hulls that they like, that handle the big water that they're on. And they like Champions. And so they were like, they would buy the boat, they would strip everything out of it, put all new wiring in it, new motor, new electronics, everything. And then they had, for basically like 25 or 30 grand at that time, they got basically a brand new boat without any of the issue. And at the time, up until today, if you buy a brand new boat, you're going to have problems. It's just the way it is. And literally everyone I know that's bought a new boat has had to take it back to the dealership for an extended period of time to get small things fixed. The depth finder doesn't work right, or the seats aren't right. There's something wrong with it. Something fucks up. And I'm like, and so they're like, hey, we buy these old boats, we fix them up, and then they're great. And I'm like, damn, that's right up my alley. Like I build stuff. That's what I do. So the next day I went out and I bought a 94 Nitro 190 TF. Like the next day for like $3,000. I took the whole thing apart. I took the whole thing apart, but all new wiring, all new control. Well, not new control. I went through all the controls. I put in, a bunch of different more modern things, rebuilt the entire live well system, rebuilt the lighting, all of it, everything. I went through the whole thing front to back. And I never had a problem out of the boat. I would go to and because again, guys, I'm not going to the lake like once every 6 months. And the boat, if the boat works fine. If it doesn't, whatever. I'm going every freaking day when I can. And so this boat gets a workout. And so I put the remote drain plug. I put in remote charging. I put everything, man. And I, at the end of it, I'd sell the boat today for like $7,000, like $8,000. Like if somebody wanted to buy it, I still have it. And so then I had the Nitro. It was good. I put an Ultrex on it, did all this stuff. And then this opportunity came up to buy this Javelin for $5,000. What? I was like, no, there's no way. And the picture this guy put up is like, it's got ripped up carpet. The seats look like ass. This thing is like, it's not what you think of when you think of a nice boat. I went out and looked at it, and I was going to buy it for the motor because it had a 275 on it, and I want or 225, and I wanted it to replace my 150. And I was like, well, if nothing else, I get the motor out of it, right? So sure enough, I go look at this boat, and there's nothing wrong with this boat. And it's one of it's one of Javelin's better hulls. Like this thing is super stable. It's fast. It's, it's a good layout. It's not great layout. It's not like super modern like some of the stuff we have now, but it's still a great layout. And the guy wants $5,000 for it. And like nobody was buying this boat because nobody would believe that he'd only take $5,000, that all he wanted was $5,000 for it. But the thing is that he had 2 boats on his property. And in a lot of towns, including mine in Tennessee, if you can only have 1 boat on your property. Right. So he had to get rid of it. And I'm sure that the codes, I'm sure there was a codes hearing coming up or something. So I told him, I'm like, hey, I really like it. I'll take it. I didn't bring I didn't bring any cash with me because I didn't think this was going to happen today. What do you want to do? And this is where being a good human being comes in handy, right? Like you guys aren't going to believe this shit, but I'm going to tell you the truth. We're sitting there talking to this dude. Now, I've never met this dude in my life. Never met him, not one time. I'm like, hey, but he's seen me post in the local lake forum, that's kind of stuff, and he kind of knows who I am, but not really, right? It's like, hey, what's up? So I'm like, hey, I'll take the boat, but I didn't bring any cash with me. It's Sunday, so what do you want to do? He's like, well, I'll take a check, or you can just take the boat and just bring me cash sometime this week. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, no, man, I can't do that. I can't take your boat and not give you money. I've got to pay you for the boat. I just wouldn't feel right about that. So he's like, well, how about this? I'll meet you. I'll drag the boat into work with me tomorrow. He owned a shop, arguably closer than where he was to me and then his house was to me. He's like, hey, I'll drag it down to my shop tomorrow. You come by and pick it up. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do that. So got up next morning, went to the bank, pulled out some cash, drove up to his shop, handed him a stack of hundreds. We wrote out a bill of sale, and he gave me $100 back for driving up there to pick the boat up. So I get this thing home, and I'm thinking, for $5,000, this thing's going to need batteries. It's going to need everything. And I'm telling you, cousin, it didn't need anything. Like nothing. Like I did change the trolling motor out because it wasn't what I wanted. and there were no electronics on it. So I put some electronics on it. So I had some stuff laying around. But this boat literally, like I charged the batteries up. It had a built-in battery charger in it. So I charged the batteries up overnight. Everything came up, all greens across the board. It took a minute, but it lit off, and I traced that down to like a $20 fix. I fixed it, took it to the lake, ran around the lake, ran perfect. Only problem was there's a little ding in the prop. Yeah, all the story is missing is something about spitting a handshake and maybe my word is my bond thrown in somewhere. I mean, right. That's it kind of was. And the dude was like, he gave me back $100 because I had to come get it from his shop. He's like, hey, you drove all the way up here. Here's $100 back. I'm like, what? He's like, he's such a good dude. And then I had trouble with the boat. And I had some trouble getting it started or whatever. And he's like, man, it's always started for me. And he was like super concerned that there was a problem with it. And I'm like, dang, man, like this guy, this is a $5,000. This like he did me such a favor. Like I could turn around and sell the boat today for like 10 grand, 12 grand, something like that. No problem. And, so I had the boat about a week. I took it. I had all new carpet put in. I put brand new seats in it. Went through the whole thing front to back. And now, this is where we're at. The boat's like basically brand new. Kissy Cat. I have, I don't use Lowrance, anything. I have a Humminbird, Helix. Right now I have a Humminbird Helix 8, I think 7 or 8 at the console. And I use that for mapping and side scan. And then I have a Humminbird, it is a Helix 12, I think. It's it's bigger. It's like a 12. I think it's a 12, Helix 12 up front. And I use that for the Mega 360. The Mega 360 is awesome if you understand how to use it, but, not really, you may not need it. And then I have a Garmin 1046 SVX or SXV, whatever, that I have strictly for the forward-facing sonar, the live scope. And yeah, I mean, I got a lot of sonar in that thing. You like the Simrad? Simrad's just Lowrance, but yeah, shoot me a picture of your setup. I have a picture of my setup somewhere, and I've got it all in strong arm mounts, and I mean it's pretty set up right now. So, but I don't use Lowrance for anything. I had a real bad problem with Lowrance, and their I just don't like their imaging. I like Garmin for mapping. I think Garmin's the best at mapping for sure, but Humminbird is but the bird, can't beat the bird, man. Can't beat the bird. Plus Humminbird is really like been cool to work with. Like I have a Helix. I have a bunch of Helix 7s. They used to be my favorite. And I had one where like the screen was jacking up or something, and I needed an update that I didn't realize that I needed. And I was on the water with their customer service while they walked me through how to download this and put it, make it all work while I was on the water. It was cool. That's really awesome. You had a Lowrance sponsorship. You got some freebies. it's got to suck to be a girl and just get all this free shit. So yeah, I have no, all right, so effing epic. I have Mega 360, which is Humminbird, and that's the dome. That's literally its motorized sonar. It's badass. And then it's better than the perspective mode on the it's better than the, I think they call it perspective mode. It's better than the live scope for sure. And then I have live scope for strictly forward facing, and that's what I think you're thinking of, perspective mode, where I can see my lure in the water. I don't actually use that much. First of all, I find that I end up fucking with the electronics more than I end up fishing, and I like to catch fish more than I like to fuck around with electronics. So I don't even turn the thing on half the time. Yeah. So yeah. So I have when I'm in forward mode, that's I only use it for forward mode. I haven't really had that much luck with it. I do have a new mount that I need to put on. I have a LVS 32, which is the original, and I have an LVS 34, which is the new one, which I need to put on the boat. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. So yeah, I've done that a couple of times. I normally leave it in the forward facing, typical, scan mode. So yeah, I think is it 54 or 64? That's the marine one. So, but I don't need it, man. And plus, they're starting to outlaw forward-facing sonar in a lot of tournaments. Although I don't fish tournaments, but if I did, what kind of boat do you have, Kissy Cat? Did I miss it? I have the 360 connected to my trolling motor. Yeah. Let me see if I got a picture. Hang on. Just stand by, Kissy Cat. I got to put my glasses on so I can see. We'll see if we can't do some stuff. I'll share some screens and stuff. Dang old Kissy Cat. I know I'm boring the crap out of you guys, but to me, this is interesting stuff, really. And honestly, I couldn't honestly believe when I bought the Javelin that guy just didn't. I mean, he was just totally cool. He's just like, just take it. It's fine. Which was awesome. I mean, I didn't, obviously, because why would I do that? But yeah, I fish. I don't know who was in here earlier was talking about Percy Priest, but that's literally where I was this morning, was on Percy Priest. I was on, I fished Lamar Hill boat ramp, and then I fished which I like fishing Lamar Hill boat ramp. I almost always catch fish there. Not always, but almost always. And so I really like Lamar Hill boat ramp. And then I didn't get anything there. So I moved over to the Weekly Road Bridge. And there's a community hole there where there's a hump that comes up, and then it's, basically it's really shallow and then drops off. And it's got a hump, and then it's on a flat that's like 10, 12 feet of water. The hump comes up to like maybe 5 feet, 6 feet of water. And then it drops off right after that into like 40 to 60 feet of water. So it's a really good spot to get some stuff going on. So let me see. Kissy Cat. Let's see. That's just a mount. All right. All right. Stand by, Kissy Cat. Oh, Duck wants to come up. I'll get to you in a minute. All right. So here's my that's my bird. There's the Garmin. There's the mount. That's the Ultrex. Over here, you can see the Ultrex here, and then you can see right here this long pole right there that kind of disappears behind there. That's the 360. You have a 22-foot center console combo from Tahoe. Okay. Okay. And then your Riverbow's a low roughneck. Okay. All right. What's up, Duck? We're talking boats tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, I remember boats. My dad we had a canoe, and for a short period of time we had a very small pontoon boat back in the day. I remember going out with the fancy all the fancy electronics on stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of fancy electronics. Fancy electronics is my middle name, to be honest with you. Because that's what's up. So, but it's a it's not for everyone. I understand. Like I get a lot. I actually, like my wife is always like, I can't believe that you put this much effort into this. I'm like, of course I do. Why would I not? If I have some more. Thought maybe I had a better picture of the. Yeah, it's probably a better picture of it. Yeah, all right, there you go.
I could never figure out how to use the. I'm not very mechanically inclined.
Yeah.
Typical liberal, I suppose, but I could never figure out how to get the fishing rods with the little like spindle thing to work when we go out.
Like a bait caster?
Button.
Like a bait caster?
I think so. Yeah, not the fly fishing rods even. I couldn't work those ones either. Just the little button and whoosh.
Yeah.
Whoosh, way up high, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So Kissy Cat, here you go. Here's the Garmin and the Humminbird again. Let me see. There we go. There we go. All right. So the bird, the Garmin, and then over here you can see that's the Mega 360. And then of course there's another transducer on the bottom of the trolling motor that you can't see. And of course I have all of the wires in the cool sock there, so that it doesn't get too out of control. And so it is what it is. So yeah. And then, I like my boat, man. My boat's actually, honestly, I like my boat a lot. I haven't, every time I'm like, I'm going to sell it. I'm never going to sell it. It's not going to happen. I put so much time and some money in it. Not a lot of money. So
you got like one of those candy red paint jobs on it?
No, I did have the interior. I'd had all the seats and carpet redone, and it was less than you would think, but it still wasn't cheap. It wasn't cheap. It's kind of the opposite of cheap, actually. So, Duck, what's new with you, man? While I'm sitting here looking around for stuff.
Not that much. It's been hot in Arizona, so I've still been running and stuff. But yeah, it's just so tiring to go running when it's over 100 degrees.
Yeah,
I've still been doing it. So that not much. Making content. I argued with Jim Bob for a little bit the other day.
Yeah. Did he beat you up really bad?
No, Jim Bob is a not that smart of a person with respect to Jim Bob. The things he says are not that smart. If he doesn't like me describing all of all of him in some way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The way the conversation went was more or less I was supposed to, I think at some point I was supposed to brainwash my child, my in real life child, my IRL child, to not ask questions about sex and gender. So I was like, yeah, nah, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. There's no possible world where if my kid's curious about something, you get to be curious, honey. Dad gets to
How do
be
you mean
curious with you.
curious?
About whatever it would be that a tiny human, when they're on their road to not being a tiny human, ends up
So
being
I
curious
got
about.
something I want to ask you, Duck. Now, have you been around kids at all?
Have I been around kids?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like kids
I
that
mean,
are
like,
not?
do you have a little brother? Do you have do you have anything like that going on?
Yeah, I have nephews, nieces, quite a few of them. Most of my friends have kids. So yes, lots of kids in my life. Lots of kids that are not my own in my life.
On the case, International Harvester says that's not how it went down. He has a different viewpoint than you. Kissy Cat, there's my boat. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. So this is before I put the 360 on it, and when I had just the I probably just had the big helix on there.
That's not a nothing burger on the back either. That looks like you could, if you wanted to, you could have a little bit of fun with that. That's
It
not
does
like a pure fishing boat.
yeah. I mean, I've had it at just under 70 miles an hour on the water. So, yeah, just under. It will probably do a little more than 70, but I don't really have the right prop for it to get there. But yeah, I have a fast boat. All my boats are fast. Why would you limit yourself speed wise?
That was the main cost driver back in the day. Like, cause in Arizona, we've got a bunch of lakes and stuff. So
yeah,
if a person was curious, you could go on Craigslist, and for $400, $500, you could have something with a motor. Throw it in the trailer, strap it to the top of the car. You'd be good to go, right? Throw the motor in the trunk or whatever it is. But that's a boat right there. That's a big boat.
yeah. Well, one of the things, and I know this is irrelevant, but one of the interesting things is I firmly believe that if you're going to buy a boat to go, if you're going to buy a boat to go fishing in, it needs to be at least 19 feet. 17 is like really minimum, but it really needs to be 19 feet. And that's because if you put when you put a small boat on the water and you're out there with everyone on a lake, a big public lake especially, it's just going to be so bad. And you're just going to get beat up every time you turn around, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I used to go back and forth with like 17-foot boats and that kind of thing. But I got to be honest with you, man. There's no upside to it at all. So I would say, like get a good, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20-foot boat. And you will be like so much happier in life if you're out on crowded water, because it's just so much more stable. Generically, they're generally faster. They'll hold a lot more motor, and they just so that's just my viewpoint. And you don't have to. I mean, I didn't spend a lot of money on my boat. I mean, I wouldn't sell it right now, obviously, but I don't have a ton of money in my boat.
Yeah,
Not like some people do.
when we went boating, just in case you are considering, just whoever you might have as a guest on the boat. The fun part was always when we would go to like whatever one of the hidden coves or something like that, one of the
Mhm.
secret coves, and go jump off cliffs. Someone would fish or
Yeah.
whatever it was. It was cool. Yeah, I mean, if like one of our friends, someone that had like a bigger boat or something, when we could hook the tubes up, that was fun too. But yeah, in
What's
Arizona,
interesting, it's
yeah.
interesting you say that, because when I was out this morning, while I
Yeah.
was fishing, there were some guys. There was these two kids, probably teenagers, and they
Uh-huh.
were. You could tell, they had a little, pretty inexpensive and very narrow John boat that they had actually, because they're smart kids, they'd actually attached PVC pipes on the side to act as not really outriggers, because they were attached directly to the side, but just to keep it from like being so tippy and rolling over, especially in the bigger water that they were in. And so I was watching these kids, and they weren't catching anything. They were really in the wrong place to catch it, to catch any fish, and that happens. That's fine. And so they eventually got tired, and there's a bridge. The bridge that I was under has a rope swing there, and people leap off of the side and fall down into the water and go swimming. And that's what they did. They stopped fishing. They tied their boat up, and they were sitting there for probably 45 minutes to an hour, just having the best time on this rope swing. Jumping in the water. And I thought it was awesome. I thought, it's unfortunate today that so many kids do not have that kind of opportunity, because maybe their parents are overprotective, or they live in an area where they just can't get to a lake, or maybe it just never occurs to them, and they the $500 they would spend on a cheap John boat to go have great adventures in. Instead of doing that, they do stupid things like buy a new laptop or something that they don't really need. And so but I thought it was awesome. I really did. I thought it was like the coolest thing I'd seen in a long time. Was these kids just having a good old time, swinging out and making huge splashes in the water. And of course, they were ruining the fishing on that side of the lake. But who cares?
I mean, that's pretty country to have, like, thinking you have an actual rope swing and stuff. It's not, you're not,
dude, it's there right now. Like you can, and I don't know who puts it up every year, but every year, in the winter time, I don't see it. And then as soon as the water gets warm, that swing reappears. I don't know who puts it up. I don't know if it's like, a different kid every year or what happens, but and it's great to see kids be kids. It's awesome. I mean, I can't, now that you've brought it up, I just can't say enough cool, good things about it, because, again, these kids could be out there causing problems and getting in trouble. Instead, they're swinging off a rope swing under a bridge and just having the best time playing in the water, and because they weren't catching any fish. And then they'll go back to fishing, and maybe they'll catch something, maybe they won't, but they're gonna have a great day on the water, being active, being cool, and it's just awesome.
Yeah,
it's just awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting when you said, because people can, I mean, if you want, you can, I'm sure you could, like, what are jet skis? A cheap jet ski is maybe $1,000 or something.
Yeah,
And so there's always that weird trade-off when you're deciding, like, well, are we going to do something for just us? Am I going to do something for just me? Or is this something that, like, okay, I should think about other people while I'm doing this. Oh, here's the boat footage.
Yeah.
Cool. I hear that. I hear that dunk 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 chunk 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 chunk. That really nice rhythm going on too.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, yeah, but I just think it's awesome, man. I just think that we need more of that in this world. You know, I would, and you know, it was great to have that, have those kids out there and, and just sit there and watch them as I'm fishing, you know, because they weren't bothering me. I was on the other side of the channel. I was, you know, a good 80, 90 yards away. So, you know,
Yeah.
it was a good time. And it worked out, you know. So I don't know. And I guess where I was kind of going is, you know, like my son, you know, my son's 15 tomorrow.
Oh, happy early birthday! Congratulations,
Yeah,
Dad.
yeah.
I'll just say
And
that.
you know, and what he's doing this weekend is he's going to go play paintball with his friends and let his friends shoot him with paintballs. I'm sure
That's
he's going to
pretty
shoot them
cool,
too, but you know, they're gonna go play paintball, and which is awesome, right? That's a great male aggression thing to do. And
I
the
had a I had a I had an old autococker,
yeah,
and then I also had like one of the electro pneumatics, because
okay,
there were like three different type. They were just like regular pneumatic, which was basically it's an entirely mechanical system. Once you screw your thing in, the CO2, you can
hmm
just shoot. But then autocockers, I forgot it. There was like a whole mechanism that shot like the nitrogen through.
hmm
And then like the ones the pro players used were like electro pneumatic. So I had like a first generation Spider electro pneumatic paintball gun, which is pretty cool. You know, uh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
3,000 cubic inch tank and all that kind of good stuff. It was fun.
So I guess you know, so you know, and my youngest son, you know, he's at that age where, you know, things are really flexible, right? And so we're like, the other day he's like wearing something, and we're like, hey, you know, girls wear that, and he's like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, they do, and he's like, no, they don't, and then of course my wife's like, oh yeah, yeah, that's totally, and so he's learning, and I would be really annoyed if somebody told me that I couldn't tell my son that, right? Like that would really annoy me if somebody said, you know, you shouldn't be telling your son that you know, whatever are girls' toys, or you know, that's a you know, pink is a girl's color, you know, don't because you know there's programming involved when kids are little, right? And he's 4, so he's in that age range.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean
um,
it's sort of weird too, because I'm a girl dad, so
are you really?
and yeah, and so like
I didn't know
one of
you
the
were a
weird.
dad. Congrats.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a grown ass man, so
Okay.
and I don't have to say it either. So, but like one of the weird things that you learn as you become a father, as you get older, and you start thinking about things a little bit, a little more concisely, is that like like I cannot, for me, it's like, well, I'm obviously not thinking about my politics while I'm raising my kid, but I also
Sure.
can't teach my girl to be a girly girl, right? If she has different types of questions than that, if she sees the world a different way, and so just that sort of early adult,
Sure.
not adult, but like early, kind of socialization and
Yeah.
stuff. It's very different. Girls get stronger and bigger than boys a lot faster. I'm not a big guy, but I'm not a weak guy either.
Sure.
And it's like, wow, this tiny human's stronger than I am. Like, you know? And so
Right.
like
Right.
so it's just a really crazy thing, because it's like, well, how do you even, if you are, if I'm a dad and I'm thinking about like, well, how does a 4 or 5 year old girl ask a question? What sort of answer can they actually understand, or do they want? Um, you know, I don't even know where the question about a bow tie, or like the a gas mask would come in there.
Yeah. So I mean, I get
Yeah,
it, and it's an interesting thing because the um there's that age, right, where they're virtually indistinguishable, boys and girls, right? Because they're little, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely,
And
to some
so
extent, sort of.
but
I guess.
and
Yeah.
I guess where I was kind of going with that is like, it's very interesting to me when people talk about how other people should raise their kids,
Yeah. Very
and
weird.
or how they would raise their kids, but they haven't been in the situation, and so I don't know. I just think it's interesting. It was an interesting question. So
Well, I hope your son, whether he looks handsome or beautiful in a dress, you know,
more
it's an
video.
accomplishment to make it to 15 years.
Is that the same one? That might be the same one. I had one that showed the
Oh, Ghost 1978. I hope you are being
that-
slightly mindful when you're playing Barbies or Peppa and all that stuff. Barbie's pretty good. They're a good brand. Barbie is a good brand. I don't know if any of the guys in chat do that stuff where you're kind of seeing what the stories are and the characters. You know, I don't want the talking tomatoes and cucumbers I had back at like Bible school and stuff, but I don't want the opposite of that either. So
Mhm.
yeah, just something to
Yeah.
be aware of.
The question JB asked him involved twin brothers who identified differently, and how you should explain to your kid that one wants to be called woman and the other man. Man, you know, I don't know. It's interesting. I didn't see that effing epic. Can you got a link, bro? Throw me a link. You can't drop something
Wait,
like that
this
and
is
not
a
throw me
different
a
one.
link.
That sounds bad. I saw the Sky News one was so funny, dude. I was laughing my
Where are
butt
you
off
at on
watching
these,
that.
Duck? Where are you at really on these riots? Where's your point of view? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think of them as riots per se.
I mean, it looked
If
like riots to me.
yeah, because that's all the footage that you're watching. But just remember the first day and 2 days, these were all planned. They told people where they were going to be. They
Well, I
probably had
agree that
estimates
I
of how many
100%
people that were
believe
going
they're
to show up.
orchestrated and planned for sure.
They were planned, like permitted, right? Like they said we're going to go do these things. But yeah, the first day, when Trump and Homan are talking, Homan, who has nothing to do with this, by the way, but yet says, my politics, but Homan says, well, there was such a need for us to get DOD involved in this. You have to have DOD in LA. You know, I don't really see the justification. You had 167 people go into the zip ties for civil disobedience on day one, and
Well, they also had people throwing Molotov cocktails on day one.
um, what do you mean by people though? If you're going to do the Tom Homan thing and you say, well, I want, I just want to support whatever Trump said, and for whatever reason
Well,
Trump is
I
saying
don't know
this.
that Trump said anything about it. I'm just telling you what I saw in video live.
Yeah, so Grid, what I saw on day one was I saw them set a perimeter in 2 minutes. I saw them throw a
But you
couple
did
smoke grenades.
hold on, come on. Did you
What?
just ignore the rest where they literally they're throwing Molotov cocktails against all kinds of buildings and cars, and the police cars were burned underneath the bridge? I mean, come on, man. You can't be this intellectually dishonest, Duck. Just don't do it.
You're the one being
You can't do that.
dishonest.
You just
You're the
can't
one
do
being
that.
dishonest.
I'm not. I
when
watched it just like everybody else did live on CNN.
you're already leaving out information, and
I'm not
more
leaving out any
important-
information. What information am I
more
leaving out?
more importantly, I already told you the stuff you've been leaving out. More
What did I
importantly,
leave out?
you didn't talk about the fact that Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom were not consulted at all, and that
I don't care about that
LA
part.
as
I'm
one
not
of the
asking
biggest
about what
cities.
the government did. I'm asking, what do you think about the people, the rioters who have thrown Molotov cocktails at police cars on day one which precipitated the response. Now, we can talk about the response later.
Let's get into it then. Let's get into it, Grid.
I'm only concerned right now.
No, because
in
if you're going to
what is
be
your
Grid,
opinion
no,
on
if you're going to
the
be
people
dishonest,
who
you're going to be
threw the Molotov
ahead.
cocktails on day one and burned police cars and burned other. I mean, I don't know that they actually burned any buildings. I think a couple of buildings that caught on fire, but I don't think any actually burned down. But I'm not saying they didn't either, because reports are conflicting. I'm not saying that buildings weren't burned. If somebody has proof that they were burned, then I'm great. I'll look at it. But I didn't see any buildings burned to the ground. I'm not saying that did not happen. And now you have looting. I mean, I don't care about Newscomb. I don't care about
Grandstand a little bit more than Grid.
I
Grandstand more
don't care
about
about any
No,
of
because
the
you're not
political
having
point of it.
you're having
I only care. I
your
only
opinion.
I asked your opinion of what is going. What your opinion of
Sure.
what is going on,
Sure.
and it has nothing to do with the political maneuvering. I only care about the people that are breaking the law and what you think of it.
Yeah, so I
Because
think
I'm not
that
going to get
you're
bogged
you're
down
going
in
to
Trump
if you're
did
going to have
this, Trump bad,
No,
Newsom
because
good.
okay, Grid, if you're going to have an opinion about someone in the Bible or some holy book who stole a piece of bread and gets his arm cut off, and you're going to approach this conversation in the same way, you're not going to learn anything, right? If you're not talking about justice, then bottom line, you're not talking about
Okay,
justice
let's
in the
talk.
first
But
place.
again, you are not answering the question. You're
I just
obfuscating
did
and
answer the
moving around.
question.
And I asked you a very straightforward, simple question.
I
What
answered
do
it very
you
simply.
think? No, you didn't. What do you think about the people who were literally burning police cars to the ground, who were calling? What are those robot cabs? Uis or
Waymos.
Wayos? Huh?
Yeah, Waymos.
Waymos, thank you.
Yeah.
The Waymos, they were calling those and burning those. What do you think of that? I don't care about the political environment at all. That's irrelevant. I'm only care about what do you think about the people who are breaking the law currently? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think when we're looking at the picture of the people who are breaking the law in the protest, like, and as angry as people can and maybe should be, are allowed to be about them burning down cars and throwing rocks at police. Some people that have brought these Molotov cocktails, and we can be so mad. It's so ludicrous to imagine that the city of LA was not set up. They don't have security infrastructure that was in place
No,
for
they
the
don't.
organic coast.
Unfortunately, they don't.
It doesn't make sense, and it's almost like, if you have people on Facebook inviting people to protest all over the country, and then you say, well, your actual local politics don't matter. It's
Okay,
almost like they're inviting
hold on.
more people to go do that.
Before we get too far away from this, so what I'm hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you think it's okay that these people burned police cars, caused property damage that some citizen somewhere is going to have to pay for, or an insurance company somewhere is going to have to pay for. Therefore, obviously that raises rates for everybody. That burning the Waymos for no damn good reason whatsoever, that's fine. All of this stuff is fine. So if you believe that, I'm going to take you at your word that you believe that.
Sure.
How can you have any problem at all with Jan 6?
Yeah. So just to real quick, I can answer that, and to go back.
Yeah. I'm very curious.
The core issue. The other thing that we saw was, not only do we have Donald Trump and Tom Homan and DHS going over the heads of the people who actually perhaps knew the most and were most set up to respond effectively and keep people safe.
Okay, we can talk about Donald Trump in a minute.
No, this is relevant.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Yeah, land the plane.
I'm up here too. Okay, and so you also have a conference that tells people, you have this joint conference because one guy gets arrested for throwing a Molotov cocktail. They're trying to crucify him and charge him with attempted murder. And so you have all of this lack of context.
It sounds like attempted murder to me.
Did
you know that a Molotov cocktail
I don't know how you could say that.
Do you know that a Molotov cocktail, possession of Molotov cocktail makes you a felon? It is considered a
Yeah,
destructive device.
There's no justified reason in U.S. law to ever have a Molotov cocktail.
Right, but possession of one in and of itself is considered a destructive device and an NFA item, and you are a felon for possessing one without proper
And
paperwork.
so in the middle of these protests, as powerless as the city of LA is,
Powerless? Okay.
at one of the largest ports in the world,
I agree
a
with you
place
that
just
LA is
functions
powerless.
all the time.
I agree with you that LA is powerless. That's why rooftop Koreans were a thing. So I agree with you that. But they've been deballed by their local government.
But
I
then
don't have anything to do with that.
not only do you have DHS on the first day saying there's 1,000 violent protesters, signaling what the Trump administration was seeking to do, which was to politicize an already volatile situation that Trump himself caused on another note. And then on top of it, you have these lunatics going out and talking about cutting people's arms off, cutting people off at their feet, and saying, well, look, if you do step 1 foot out of line, we're going to make an example of you. Does that in any way correspond to reality in your opinion? It does not.
Okay, so I got to ask you, man. Let me kind of, I'm going to back up a minute. Let me ask you something. So, do you understand that the ICE raids were targeted specifically at felons, people with existing warrants for deportation, and known felons from another country? They came in illegally and they knew that they were felons from another country. They weren't going after Lupita at the taco stand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. So these are targeted at very bad people.
So no.
Why?
So no, not quite.
What
not
possible?
Quite. I understand your question.
Let me answer my question.
Already.
Let me ask my question.
Okay.
What possible excuse can you give me for the governor not wanting those people arrested and removed from the state if he actually cares about his people?
I mean, that's a horrific statement. So they arrested an influencer, Kabi Lame, Kabi, whatever his name is, who has over 1.6 million Instagram followers. Not only that, you actually had.
Okay, but hold on. Was he a felon? Was he under an existing deportation order?
You have people who may be in the U.S. legally.
That's not what I'm asking.
You have people in detention centers.
We know for a fact that
No, you don't. No,
we
you
do.
Don't. How?
We do. Literally, they published who they were going after. They published why they were going after them. Nothing you've said has any proof except, well, Gavin Newsom said that we got it under control while they're burning police cars.
I agree. I think 0%. I think 0% of the Trump base actually knows who they're deporting, why they're deporting them, what the typical process would be like for deporting
I understand
people.
that you might think that because you need to believe that, but you're wrong.
No, I don't.
I know that they're going after felons. They've proven time and again they're going after felons. They're going after people with existing deportation orders. They're not going after people who are harvesting lettuce in Nebraska.
Just saying that. Why don't I just do the same thing, Grid? What they're doing is they're going after people who are in the naturalization process, who have appeals processes where they have no due process. Once Trump arrests them,
no, that's wrong. That's wrong. No, that's wrong. That is wrong. If you are in an appeals process, you have had due process. And you probably, if you're in the appeals process, you're appealing an order to get you out of the country, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, you might be appealing.
You have an existing order that says leave the country, and you were defying the order and staying here to appeal.
It's the same thing. It's analogous. It's like they're suing you to leave the country, right? If you get sued, you don't have to roll over right away.
But they don't have to sue you to get you to leave the country. You have no status. You have no reason to be here.
That's not true. That's not how the United States.
That is exactly how it works.
That's not how any legal system works.
That's exactly how this works. Do you not understand? I can't believe that I have to explain this to you, Duck. I thought you were smart.
No, you're not. You're
when you crawl across the border, you have
no status. And now you're very obviously not a lawyer, Grid. Come on,
I'm not a
dude.
lawyer, but I don't have to play one on TV to know that when you crawl across the border, you have no status. None. Zero.
Yeah, I mean that was true before
That is
Cesar
true.
Chavez. That was true when, yes, in the history of the United States, there were people who were denied
It's still
wages,
true.
who had violent and sexual crimes committed against them, who had no legal recourse in the United States. I wouldn't blame the city of LA, and I wouldn't blame anyone
It's still
who has
true that
kids
you have
that
no
identify as
status
Latinx
and you can be
are now
deported
seeing
at
the same
whim.
pattern repeat
Nobody
itself.
has
They're
a
seeing
right
hatred
to
on
be
Fox
here.
News. They're seeing
What you're
hatred
trying to
from the
say,
leader
Duck,
of ICE.
is
They're
that
seeing
because you
hatred
crawl
from the
across
Trump
the border
administration.
that you have a right to be here, and that's wrong. That's legally, factually, contextually, and morally wrong. It's wrong
It
on
isn't.
literally
Do
every
you know how
single
much
point.
paperwork there is? Is that what
To
you're
do
saying?
what? To deport somebody?
Yeah, to deport someone or to say that
It's
you
not
don't have, they can't
literally
deport you.
literally
They're human beings. That is what
literally INS
jurisprudence
does
is.
it
I
every
don't know why
day.
you don't. No, I don't know why you don't understand that the law is for human beings. Humans who are ends in themselves, who are moral beings, who have rights within a society. It's
Okay,
not only American citizens who have rights in the world, and our
you
legal system isn't
well,
built
our
so
legal
narrowly that
system does
only
not
Americans fit
convey
into it.
rights onto illegals unless they have. Now, there is one way, Duck. There's one way, and that is if they've applied for refugee status. They're fleeing a country. They're fleeing a war-torn area. Just walking across the border does not give you legal status in the United States of America. It never has. It never will. They throw people back across the border every single day.
Yeah, but Grid,
And they're
this
going
is what
to
I don't.
continue
This
to
is
do
what
it.
I don't. Grid, I don't understand this. What I don't understand is how we're having this conversation in such a narrow light. We're talking about single Molotov cocktails.
No, we're
The
talking about
single cases
many
that Fox News
Molotov
put up.
cocktails.
We're
We're
not
talking
talking
about
about. We're not
many
talking about.
burned.
We're not
talking
talking about
about
human beings who
hold
don't
on,
necessarily
Duck, come on.
understand the
You are
law and our
literally
rights.
being the most intellectually dishonest right now. A single Molotov cocktail, you're lying. You know that there's more. They burned an entire
That's fine.
line
That's
of
even
those
okay.
Wago cabs.
That's
They
completely fine.
there's literally probably, I bet that I could challenge the chat to go find a half a dozen examples of individuals throwing Molotov cocktails on camera, and those are the ones that were caught on camera, not the ones that weren't. So don't be like, well, it's just one Molotov cocktail. One is too many, Duck. One is too many. There are people that deserve peace in this country. They're called citizens.
What are you talking about? Who ordered 700 Marines to go there? That wasn't
Yes, to
the president that
protect
you
federal
voted for?
Property.
What are you talking about?
Hold on. Do you not believe that federal property deserves protection?
You don't believe that LA was capable of protecting LA?
I do
That's
not.
absurd.
I do not believe that. They showed that they were not.
There you go. And now you get to
Why
live
do
in
you
that
think
space.
they are when
What do you
literally
think
they're
of-
burning
okay,
buildings?
What do you think?
Why do you think LA is capable of
Gavin Newsom
anything
and
when they're
Angela
currently looting the
Karen
city?
Bass? What do you think of Mayor
You have
Bass?
to
What do you
answer
think
this
of Gavin
question.
Newsom?
Why do you think LA is competent to do anything when they're currently looting the city?
Because their GDP is probably bigger than 60%
Their
of
GDP
countries
has
on planet
jack
Earth.
shit to do with their competency.
What the fuck? I don't know what you're talking about now. That doesn't
You
make
just
any
said
sense.
that
That
LA,
doesn't
you
make
said,
any
I
sense,
didn't say
dude.
this. You said that LAPD could handle their shit, that they didn't need the
Right.
military. They didn't need any of this.
Yes.
And yet
I-
all evidence to the contrary, Duck, because right now they're looting. Right now they're literally breaking down storefronts and stealing from innocent shopkeepers, Duck.
You know, if you don't have 700 Marines and if you don't have 2,000 National Guardsmen where they weren't needed, LA was going to go and take that energy and give it to the next place that wanted
That
to
you're full of
represent
shit, and
their
you know it.
interests in the
There's no
United
fucking way.
States.
I remember the LA riots. I remember all of it. I remember every time LA is rioted, and it's
And you remember
always this
Rodney
way.
King getting the shit beat out of him on camera.
Yes, and all people did was loot. And you know what? It wasn't until they sent in the military. The minute the military showed up, the riot fucking ended. Fucking ended right then.
What riot is there today? I don't see a riot.
There is.
Huh?
Turn
I
on
don't see
the
a riot.
fucking news.
I saw
$5 comes in from Chuck. Hold on. $5 comes in from Chuck in Tennessee. 7 minutes ago, the United States is on high alert in anticipation of potential Israeli strike on Iran. That's interesting. I didn't know that. And then we had another K2 Keep on Trucking sent me some money. Let me find it. It's up here. There it is. $2 came in from K2 Keep on Trucking. Cesar Chavez hated immigrants. That's true. That's true. Duck, dude, you make such a stretch to defend your side. I will say when people fuck up, but you never will. You will not admit that LA is going to burn again, just like it did in Rodney King, until we get some people in there to take care of it.
You know, you can snake through the headlines as much as you want.
K2 Keep on Trucking sent in $5. This is why Democrats want to take away our guns so they can release their agent of chaos upon us, and we can't protect ourselves. I understand what he's saying. Yeah. Well, that's probably true. That's why you don't see that shit where I live, because literally people would be, it would be bad. And the rooftop Koreans are gonna go back into full effect in the Koreatown, and nothing will happen there because they will literally get on the roofs with their rifles and they will protect their shit.
I don't even know what a rooftop Korean is.
You don't know what a rooftop Korean is?
Democrats need to know about it. Are they Korean people?
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
So back in the LA riots, the LAPD did exactly what was what's happening now, which is nothing. They didn't do shit, and they were burning LA. They were rioting. They were looting. There was everything. And
this was during Rodney King, or
this was after Rodney King. Yeah, it was after the LA riots. Yeah,
Rodney King. Okay.
So the LA riots are happening. It's just dumb as shit. And again, the vaunted LAPD couldn't do shit. Didn't want to do, pardon me. Didn't want to do shit. Didn't care to do shit. Completely ineffective, just as they are right now today. Okay. And despite the Korean community saying, hey, we can't afford to have people come in and break our windows, torch our buildings, steal our stuff, we will go out of business. So they banded together.
So it's like vigilantism.
They banded together. They got up on the roof. They got up on the roof of their buildings, and no shit. I got pictures. Hang on. Let me give me a second. I got pictures. This lesson comes with photographs, and they literally protected their own communities because the LAPD would not.
Wait, so LAPD was basically, they were not, even though they had jurisdiction in Koreatown, there was, and so this is something that's I know, this is something that sociologists talk about all the time. There's really different drivers for crime and crime prevention. 99% of the data and information we have is not rooftop Koreans. It's actually, community-led efforts to reduce crime, to help people transition if there is recidivism. These types of things can show to be effective.
What? Has shown to be effective? You know what? We know 100% works 100% of the time.
Yeah, if you don't have security,
right? Security. Men with guns works 100% of the time.
Yeah, like that's what Mayor Bass's job is also overseeing securitization of LA.
Absolutely, absolutely complete failure as a governor and probably as a human being as well. I have
a question. Why didn't the May Day if this was going to be such a bad thing, why do you have protests in San Diego, and really across California? You have walkouts from healthcare. Like why, who were these bad people that managed to last 2 days without burning stuff down until Trump called in the reinforcements?
Well, again, you have the LA riots being funneled by
what is the actual logic? No, I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, what is the logical progression where California is perfectly capable of peaceful protests, and then all of a sudden you get Trump involved, and all of a sudden
Trump wasn't
now you have
involved
all of
initially.
the right-wing pundits up in arms again. What is the logical progression that happened? It's a simple question.
I tell you what the logical progression is that Gavin Newsom did nothing. The governor did nothing. They literally were going to let the town burn. And they still are. They're still doing nothing.
Yeah, surfboards, surfboards, 808s, and apparently, the fascination, the hobby of Los Angeles making homemade explosives doesn't make sense. Sorry
It
if that
doesn't
was
make sense
uncouth,
because you don't want it to make sense, because you have a narrative that you want it to fit. I don't have a narrative. I don't care. I just look at the way things are, and this is the way things are. The way things are is very simple. They riot. They do the and LA is really bad about this. LA has a history of doing this very thing where they riot, they burn a shit ton of stuff. Nothing happens to them. Nobody gets arrested. And that's just the way it is. It's been that way for a while.
And what about, I heard rumors that someone drove a crazy right-wing MAGA lunatic is how someone could describe this person. A crazy right-wing MAGA lunatic drove a car through a protest in Chicago or New York today. Was that true?
Well, it could be.
True that
I don't know if
MAGA
it's a MAGA guy. It could just be a guy that was sick of people getting in his way on the way home from work.
So you're talking about pretty much any MAGA person that could lose their temper and go do that. Is that fair?
They're not. Look, MAGA people aren't the one burning towns, dude.
I didn't see.
What about these sicko lunatic fringe leftists
burning a town down?
They're burning LA, bro. They're literally looting.
I would say
they're literally looting.
I would say the
hold on. Is looting okay? You're okay with looting? Looting's okay. Looting's fine.
This is coming from your own private talk, Grid. I don't know where that came from.
I watch actual news, watch actual footage, and watch the people breaking into stores and just walking out with all of the merchandise and not giving a fuck, causing people money and literally demoralizing their own community.
So you have 100% of MAGA right now saying that the federal government can overreach their powers and deploy troops to any.
They have not overreached their powers. That's the problem. You have sitting here saying that
100% of the subjective woke right, not understanding security in the first place. The Democrats are better at this stuff, and they have.
By the way, these are the rooftop Koreans. This is a real picture from the LA riots.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, this is what I'm saying is Democrats would understand.
You know why they had to do that? Because LA failed them. Just like LA's failing their citizens now. That's why they had to do that.
You learn half of America and get half of America, and you end up on the roof with a rifle. The Democrats at least know where to put that. They know where that puzzle piece. If you have like a origami something or another, the Democrats know how to unfold it, lay it out, and see what the map is like. MAGA, all they know how to do is speak hatred.
You keep going back to MAGA, but you keep ignoring the question. Are you okay with looting?
No, because Trump said that there were 1,000 violent.
What does Trump got to do with shit? Trump's not there looting. Are you okay with the people that you're backing, that you're okay with, that you're supporting? Are you okay with looting?
I already said that. No, I'm not okay with looting. I'm
okay. You're not okay with it. Okay, so what do you do about it? What should be done about it? Hold it, Duck. What should be done about it?
What should be done is you should not vote for another Republican ever, and you should put.
What does that got to do with looting? How do you stop the looting, Duck? How do you stop the looting?
I don't get how you understand that people are allowed to display civil disobedience and protest.
But you're not allowed to break into somebody's building and steal their shit, Duck. I don't give a fuck about your civil disobedience. If you come into a place of someone's business
that is what you're mad about.
That
is what you're mad about then.
Huh?
Just say that's what I'm mad about then.
I'm not mad about anything. I'm trying to get an answer out of you, and you keep dish galloping all over the fucking place except answering a question.
This is starting to sound like
why is it, Duck? Why is it that you cannot simply say it's wrong and illegal for them to rob and pillage, steal and loot, burn cop cars, do all of that shit's illegal. And since the city of LA is not taking care of that, somebody has to. Why can't you say that? Why can't you say that simple sentence?
You know why? Because if it hurts your feelings that there's two sides to the story,
There's
you
one
shouldn't
side to the
cover it
story.
at all. You're not
There's one
emotionally
side.
mature
There's
enough.
one
You're not
side.
politically mature
There's
enough
one
to cover
side.
this.
If they were peaceful
It's so
protesters, that would be
simple.
one thing. But they're not peaceful, Duck. You've said it yourself. They're burning. They're looting. They're
Absolutely
stealing.
not true.
They're beating people up. They're doing all of the things that is wrong and that you have said in the past was a big reason that Jan 6 was so bad, even though none of that shit happened in Jan 6. Why is it, Duck? Why is it that you simply, why you keep trying to say this is civil disobedience when what it is rioting, looting, stealing? All of these things are illegal. They're against the law. Why can't you just say these people need to be arrested and locked up? Why can't you say that?
Because why would I already explained this. I don't want to politicize this. Yes,
it's not political. Where's the political in? They are stealing.
Okay,
they're rioting.
Wait,
they're
explain
looting.
This to me. No, explain this to me. Why does the world need Grid and Rob Knorr and Jim Bob and Andrew Wilson to make this so exciting, to make this so horrible, when what we actually see in reality is that Mayor Bass herself is the one who talks about reducing the actual violence within the protest, who talks about,
but none of that talking about it helped, Duck. Why is it? You keep dodging the question,
of the separation of state
Duck.
power.
You keep dodging the question. I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to ask you again. I would really like an actual answer and not a deflection.
I'd like an honest question.
Why should those people, why are you okay with criminality? And why do you keep trying to label it as civil disobedience? Civil disobedience is not breaking into a store and stealing all their shit. It is not burning police cars to the ground. That's not civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is sitting there and saying, okay, we're not going to move. That is civil disobedience. What you're talking about, what you are avoiding talking about is a riot, is illegal, and it's criminal. And yet you will not condone, you will not only will you disavow it, you condone it and justify it by saying it's simple civil disobedience. And it's not. And you have to face the fact that it's not civil disobedience. I understand
your question. This is a matter of, this is a numerical problem. If you're going to talk about 3 or 4 people who behaved explicitly,
they're not 3 or 4 people. They're hundreds of people.
You're not going to talk about the 200 people.
Hundreds of people. Duck.
Wants to make an example of. This isn't deterrence.
Hundreds of people, Duck. I don't care about it. You're literally lying right now, and I don't like it when people lie. You are being intellectually dishonest. There's literally the sheriff's department of LA has identified hundreds of people who have attacked other people, who have burned police cars, who have thrown rocks, stones, and other things at police officers, which, by the way, is not civil disobedience. That's assault.
Look at your own chat right now. You have someone calling me a moron and saying, oh, Mayor Bass had to enforce a curfew. A curfew? Oh my gosh, in the city of LA?
Yes.
Such a wholesome place like all of
But you're saying that they're not doing anything, that there's no reason for it. You're saying there's no reason for it, Duck.
This is the narrative you're telling me.
No, you're the one spinning a narrative. You're spinning a narrative. You're spinning a narrative of civil disobedience and trying to not call it a riot, but it is in fact a riot. And you keep saying, well, nothing's getting burned, and yet we have all of the video of things burning. You're saying that these people are not violent, and yet we have all of the video of people being violent. This is a problem. Your narrative doesn't wash, and I really want to understand why it's okay in your book for people to commit crimes. Why are you? No, you're taking L because you're okay with people breaking the law and committing crimes.
At the issue. You think being holistic, you think being narrative driven, you think actually
I'm not being narrative driven. I am being holistic. You are being narrative driven. You are trying to spin a narrative right here, right now. Duck, you're trying to spin a narrative right here, right now. You're trying to call something that is criminal civil disobedience. And we all know it's not. We all know that it's not civil disobedience. Every single person watching this Well,
I
no,
don't know
that
how 100 I don't know how whatever 150, 200, 1,000 people going like this and getting taken away because they thought being there was what mattered most to them for their democratic
that's not what's
citizenship at that
happened,
time.
Duck.
That is
And you
peaceful.
know it. You know that that's not what's happened. You're lying right now. You're making shit up.
Yeah, you cannot believe it. I don't see how someone's rights were substantively violated, and how it is not indeed
Hold
someone
on. You
else's
don't see
right to
how somebody's
assembly.
rights were substantively violated
Oh,
when
counting
people
shards of glass.
broke
Go count the
into their
shards of
place
glass for me.
of business and
Count the
stole
shards of
from
glass,
them?
buddy.
Huh? What?
Count the shards of glass. This is how Republicans report the news. They count
What
the shards
the
of glass
fuck are you talking
instead of
about?
talking about actual right-leaning issues, which should be
You
defending these
keep
people. What about
deflecting.
Rand Paul?
What about Rand Paul? Who the fuck cares about Rand Paul? I'm asking
What do you
about the
think Barry
stock owner
Goldwater would be
who
doing
just
right
had his
now?
shit broken, and you're trying to make this narrative. No, dude, I'm not going to let you. Why are you okay with people getting their shit stolen? You're just okay with it. You're just okay with it. It's fine. It's fine. Right? It's
Grid,
fine.
I don't know if you got like a new form of edible in or something like that. But
Somebody
like,
get
whatever
Chuck
it
in
is,
Tennessee a link. He can come up.
Oh, Grumple's here.
Yeah, Grumple's still skins here too. I mean, look, guys.
Grump.
Duck, man, this is the most disingenuous thing I've ever seen, period, on the internet. You know that these people are committing crimes, and you just want to justify. You're just it's fine. They're fine. They're just disgruntled. They're maybe a little mad. What? Are you crazy? This is not smart. And the narrative you're trying to spin of civil disobedience doesn't wash. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
And by the way, didn't they just have somebody in Chicago? Didn't they arrest like 20 or 30 people for like throwing shit at cops again?
Let me ask you. Let me put the question to you this way: if I saw one high school student in prison when they shouldn't have been because of ICE, why can't I send 10,000 out whenever there is a crime committed by an illegal immigrant in the United States? The Republicans and MAGA, they send 1 million people to collect their hatred and to do news stories about it.
I think that's it. I don't believe any of that shit happens. Show me where that happens. Link me right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about the White House press secretary.
Link me or stop talking about it.
Didn't you guys
link me to what you're talking about? Link me to what you're talking about or stop talking about it. I don't believe any of the shit that you just said.
Okay, you can not believe all of Truth Social.
Then link me. Send me a link.
This is like lunatic land. This is loony land.
Look,
are we going to
go to Discord? Put the link in the Discord so everyone can see it. I promise you I'll read it.
Chat, what's up? What's good, chat? You guys don't make heroes out of victims. You guys don't count shards of glass. You guys don't collect hatred and weave it into a basket.
No,
let's go.
I don't. Hey, what's up, Chuck? How are you?
What's up, Grid? Duck, have you not been watching any of this? They burned up close to $1 million worth of police cars. They've destroyed and burned up close to $1 million worth of police cars. Some of these cars had these lithium batteries in it, which is really good for the environment when you burn those. Adidas store completely cleaned out. An huge Apple store. Every product removed from that store, front and back and rear, however you want to phrase it. But nothing's going on there. Are you that dense?
Seems like
and this all happened before the National Guard was deployed. Before the Guard was deployed. Excuse me?
Chuck, it sounds like you're making stuff up.
Oh my God. Grid, am I that stupid?
I think you are, Chuck.
He dropped. He may have internet issues. He's in the wrong side of Tennessee.
Two of us, Grid. Sorry, brother.
Apple Store, T-Mobile stores, CVS, 7-Eleven, small family. Did he drop? I think Duck dropped 2. I don't think anyone I don't think I've ever been in a situation where someone told me that what I see happening with my own eyes live on all of these live feeds, right? Like I can like I'm not even getting this from the news, Chuck.
Exactly.
I've
from
been
people on
literally
the
like
street,
surfing the feeds.
The IRL people walking around with their
IRL
own
people.
little
I've been
cameras.
surfing the feeds, and it's insane, Chuck. It's insane.
I got no idea what happened. All of a sudden, I disappeared.
Yeah,
but
that's all right. I mean, it's
maybe that happened to Duck too, or he got his feelings hurt.
I don't know. I don't really know what happened with Duck. He may have rage quit. I don't know.
I mean, flat out calling both of us liars.
People don't like it when you put them to the question, and I'm pretty good at putting, I'm pretty good at putting people to the question and just ignoring all of the noise. Like he can, he would try and do like this really long esoteric bullshit, and I'm just like, no, answer me this question because this is really important. Our Emmett, Duck's not here, man. You know that from that show. Dave's not here, man. Yeah, anyway, how are you, Chuck? What's new with you in the world today?
It wet. Just hoping it dries out here in the next couple of days so I can get some more of this grass cut.
Yeah, it. Pardon me.
Oh boy, you still got it, huh?
Well, they set out the cough will hang around probably 2 weeks. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Was it just a bug or was it the croup?
I had flu type A, which is apparently like pretty serious. And I was down for like 48, 50 hours. And it was pretty rough. I remember I don't think I've ever sweat so much in my sleep in my life. I went to bed and I woke up and my hair was wet, my sheets were wet, my pillows were wet. My blanket was like, everything was wet on my side of the bed. And my wife was like, you're changing the sheets tomorrow. So, hey, Duck, what's up? Duck, one of these days, I'm going to teach you not to dodge. Duck, dodge, dive, and duck.
Duck. MAGA means make asylums great again.
Yeah, asylum. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
For people like Duck.
Duck, I'm still waiting for those links, buddy. I'm waiting. Put them over in the Discord. We will all read them. I promise you. So.
Pretty interesting you ran, though, Duck.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I'm in a good mood today. I got out on the lake. I did some cool stuff, fishing and took the boat out, and always a good day when I can take my boat out, to be honest.
Oh yeah, any day is a good day when you get to go fishing.
Yeah. But I have I really wasn't even getting into. I wasn't really. I don't know why Duck wanted to talk about this because it's a losing issue. When it comes down to it. I mean, I was on a panel Monday night. We kind of debated it, and even the much better leftists couldn't really defend what's going on in California, and and the whole thing, all of the anger about sending in federal troops and the various forms of law enforcement, military.
Yeah, the feds are just protecting federal property.
Yeah,
they're not out in the streets. Right, they're not in the streets.
Yeah, which is different than the LA riots, because in the LA riots they sent in the National Guard, and the minute the National Guard hit town, the riot stopped. Like it was all.
Well, not completely, but close.
Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't last much longer. And it was interesting because I was in the debate the other night and I was like, hey, you guys remember the rooftop Koreans and how, people and the rooftop Koreans are just the best example, but there were so many communities that ended up just, like protecting their own communities.
Yeah.
Because the LAPD was not doing jack shit. And
I actually thought Duck was Canadian until he said he lived in Arizona tonight.
yeah, he lives in Arizona. So
Man, he needs to be deported too.
yeah. So it's an interesting thing. I can't believe Duck is
Chicken.
wanting to die on this particular hill because it's so obvious. And again, I haven't even watched. I did watch the CNN thing the other day where they were talking about the police cars getting burned and the Wagos getting burned, and there were some other things that CNN was talking about, but they were really like still trying to stick to the peaceful narrative while literally the world is burning in the background, which was really fun, and so that was interesting. Did you see where Harris tried to go into the federal building and they shut the door on her?
No, I didn't see that.
That is hilarious. Somebody's got to find that clip. It was really funny.
Saw the other night when they were using homemade explosives and accidentally blew up an innocent person's car.
Yeah. And then I mean, it's pretty bad out there right now. I've got some friends out there in that area, and they're, of course, they're boarding up their windows. They're, all of the anything, because these morons, they don't care. It's not their shit,
Duck, why'd you run? Are you scared? I got tired of you calling Grit a liar when I knew better.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the refuge of tyrants and idiots to just simply say someone's lying when you know that they're not. Maxine Waters, not Kamala. That's true. Yeah, it's Maxine Waters. Thank you, Emmett. Because that's what happens. Is that you can't actually refute my argument. So the best thing you can do is call me a.
Maxine Waters just got fined the other day $68,000 for not.
Yeah, I saw that. So that's going to be pretty interesting. But yeah, so
is that one of Duck's heroes?
I don't know what. Well, Duck's a leftist, and he's for whatever reason, he tries to be very esoteric and high level, like it's like he's like on this higher plane and sees shit that we don't see. But the reality is I see all the same shit. I just see it for what it really is. And I just call it what it is. I don't need to spin a narrative or a story of 1,000 shards of glass. I just tell you point blank that yes, there are a large number of people who are just out there just being people.
Duck ain't gonna watch anything you put up, you chicken shit.
I'll check the Discord right now. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. I'm had to get a drink. I was thirsty.
Well, that's understandable with that coughing.
I know, right? Yeah, it's so annoying too, because like there's no reason for me to cough, but it's just gonna last and last. Well, there we go. I need to catch up on my Discord. Oh, dude. Night Ghost has just been busy. Ghost has the links. You just need to go and throw that in the general chat. Go ahead and tag Duck. Yeah. So let me look in my Discord here.
Yeah, like let me go rob the store. That'll show us how great Mexico is.
Dude, they've been linking big time. They're standing in front of Dale's Donuts burning shit. That's hilarious. K2 keep on trucking, threw it down. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so Chuck, let me ask you, you're a reasonable man.
I try to be.
what would be the conclusion that you would draw if the night before the organized protest there were pallets of bricks delivered along the route mysteriously? What would
I lived in St. Louis when the Michael Brown "Hands Up, Don't Shoot" went down,
Oh yeah,
and
that's interesting.
funny thing is, we had that same thing happen in St. Louis. U-Hauls placing strategic brick piles, and then another U-Haul full of pre-made signs. And by the time the local media was covering the story from the start, and when the national media got there, that's when it got twisted all out of
Yeah,
sort. And I
yeah.
lived in a black community at the time,
Duck,
and
hold on
yeah,
a second.
that was scary.
Duck, what you posted has jack shit to do with the riots. For fuck's sake, man. You're trying to tell me a story. Okay? Let me help you out here, man.
Duck said
Got an
the
idea.
Apple store was not looted, yet KTLA has the footage and it's on their website.
You're
How that
trying to
works.
tell me a story, Duck. You're trying to tell me you're trying to tell me a story. You're spinning a web of something, but you don't make fucking sense.
This is pathetic. Come back up and fight, you little sissy.
Rachel Morin's daughter or mother describes her daughter's murder at White House press conference. Who the fuck cares?
Nobody.
Okay? I'm talking about the LA riots, you dumb son of a bitch.
This is pathetic.
You have not given me anything but civil disobedience, which I have disproved 7 ways from Sunday. You've not given me one example of civil disobedience. Not one. Duck,
He suffers from TDS.
you really, 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 really need to focus. Back up your narrative or shut the fuck up. As a matter of fact, let me roll. I have a public service announcement, and this is something I think that, Duck, you need to understand that sometimes you just got.
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too. Shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut the hole in your face. Like that. You can do it. Shh. Shut up. And shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think he got the message?
I don't know. I doubt it. But
I didn't mean to run
you
your
gotta
lefty
bring me
off.
proof, bro. I gave you proof. I gave it to you.
And he's giving
It's
you
in the
lip
chat.
service.
And you ignore it. And you say that you have proof, and you give me some idiot nonsense about somebody's murder. Okay, murder's bad. We get it. Cool. Has jack shit to do with the LA riots, bro.
Well, now it's more than LA. It's New York, Chicago.
Yeah, New York,
Austin.
Chicago. I mean, who cares? Well, honestly, a little rioting in New York probably cleaned the place up a little bit. So. Yeah,
Well,
Smoking
last
Spaceman. I saw that too. I saw that. I saw where the guy had the hammer and he was breaking off chunks off of buildings and
The curb.
the curb
Yep.
of the street. He was breaking to throw at people. What a fucking idiot!
Oh, wow, Duck. That really hurts my feelings. I think I'll have to go cry.
The best pinup from 1870.
Wow, that really hurt.
I mean,
oh.
honestly, it's. I mean, I don't know.
Duck, if you want to come back, Duck, I will gladly step down.
Oh no,
It's
he
just-
can. I mean, anybody can come up. The link is the link is available for the asking.
I just didn't
It was
appreciate him
Nancy
flat
Pelosi.
out calling you a liar.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. God, man, that was great. And leave it to a Marine. Leave it to a Marine. It
Well,
was
you got to
Nancy.
remember though,
Pin up in
he's crayon.
1870 was Nancy Pelosi.
Oh Lord.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a good show. I'm going to try and stick it out a little bit longer, but I do have to get up at dark 30 in the morning, and go get some stuff. I mean, I have to actually get up early in the morning, so I can get some things done. And
Hopefully, it's not too foggy.
I shouldn't have fog where I'm at, but because it was really dry today. But we'll see.
Well, I'm only a mile and a half from the river, so we get a lot of fog.
Yeah. The videos of these guys, this here, let me see if I can't make this bigger.
What do you? Come on.
Let me see if I can share this.
Do you mind? Thank you.
Mostly peaceful. It's totally peaceful, Duck. Not they're civil disobedience, Duck. Civil
K2.
disobedience, Duck.
K2 wants to know if he can come
K2
up.
can come on up. Yeah, just go get a link. Civil disobedience. Let me play that again. That's a Mexican lady. Damn, son. Oh, shit. Damn, son. What the hell?
I love just how Duck's trying to deflect the conversation.
Oh, yeah. He's
Puppy dogs and blueberries.
That's cold-blooded, man.
That really, he really showed how low he was willing to go. 'Cause, I mean, he was getting belligerent with that liar.
I mean,
word.
It's fine. I mean, look, people call me a liar all the time. I don't care. The problem is that you got to prove I'm lying. You can't prove I'm lying. See what we got another one here. Oh, this is in Compton. Oh, yeah, it's all peaceful, bro. Don't worry about it. They ain't burning cars or anything.
I don't see nothing wrong there.
That's Dale's Donuts, bro. Damn, son. That's cold-blooded.
Look,
That's a cat.
I'm kind of busy, thank you.
That's a cat.
Yep. One of the four. 2 inside and 2 outside. I don't have a mice problem.
That car asked for it. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think that was a Hyundai. And I mean, does anyone really care about a Hyundai?
Duck, Brick, and GS should all hang out together.
This is totally peaceful.
Peaceful. I don't see nothing wrong.
Yeah, we're just
cold.
throwing shit at the police.
And they're cold. They're trying to warm up. You know how cold it gets in California.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what's going on.
Oh, somebody says things are going down right this second. Where at? LA?
They're all, I mean, it's been going on for a while now.
Oh yeah, they've been burning the flag.
This is not doing your narrative any good there, my brother My brother in Christ, Duck.
Somebody send K2 the link. He's lost.
One of the mods, please get K2 the link. Is this muted? Shouldn't be muted. Maybe there's just no sound. Yeah, there's just no sound.
Somebody's car broke down. Is that they're helping them fix their car?
Yeah, they're just helping. They ran out of gas. Oh, damn, son.
Right in his face.
Damn, son.
That'll learn you.
Damn. That was a Jeep, bro. You know, I got to be honest. It's just a Jeep. It's just a Jeep. Totally cool.
Hope you fared better than Grid did. Why is Duck claiming victory?
Yeah, I don't know. He lost, like, big time. He lost so bad that there's nothing but L from here to infinity and beyond. What's up, K2? How are you, sir?
What's up, Grid? Check who Andrew uses. I think it's Daddy News Live or something like that.
Yeah.
If it's in LA, usually that guy's been getting like really good streams of.
Yeah. I've been watching all of the live feeds. I just don't have a ready supply of links, but fortunately, I have this guy, Ghost 1978, and you have been hooking it up because I don't save any of these links.
I just been getting everything from Instagram and saving it. Check out that video of they're above the overpass and throwing stuff down. I believe that one has the video of him putting a firebomb on one of the police cars and them extinguishing that. And then I got one of them where they effed up and put gasoline on a Jeep engine, and then they threw a thing. And some of those. Oh, I didn't see that one. I was trying to get up here, but
yeah, it's cool. It was good. It just about blew them to infinity and beyond, which would have been awesome.
I'm catching stuff that I don't get to really watch anything. When I sent you all that, I pulled over because I'm like, this is bullshit, what Duck is saying, and then I had to pull over.
You know,
right there. But yeah, no, dude,
it was a peaceful piss, right?
Stuff that people were catching. Yeah, people were catching like that haven't been posted on like any of the live stuff, like people's own personal feeds that people have been collecting and putting out there. Like that Hispanic woman that was dragged out of her cars with kids in the back. I think they were trying to set that one on fire. The first one that you played.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did set it on fire.
It ended before they caught it on fire, but they were, but it's freaking outrageous out there. Like, they've been letting those people do stupid shit since the LA riot. I don't really remember the LA riot. I'm a little bit younger. But after watching all those videos and watching them pull out a truck driver and pulling him out and beating his face in.
Oh,
and those LA
Reginald
riots.
Denny. Yep. Reginald Denny.
Yep. And he didn't do nothing except for make a wrong turn and got in their crosshairs. Supposedly they did it because of his skin color, but I'm not going to say that. I just think they're freaking.
Well, in fact, he pulled up to the stoplight when they attacked him.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to call all that out. I wasn't going to stay up here and take too much of your time, but like all those.
Fine,
and
man.
if you go on Instagram, there is stuff that hasn't been posted by the news and some of these other places too. Like, it's freaking wild.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that guy in the gray van? He was. I think he was anti-protester, and he was doing donuts, hitting people. That was freaking wild.
Yeah, I saw part of that. I didn't see the end of it. Didn't they like burn his car too?
No, the police
cops got him. Well, in fact, he pulled over and was just standing there, and the cops nailed him.
Oh, interesting.
Because a chopper was following him. Told the cops where
All
to
the
go.
news, all the news copters were following him. He was like the highlight of the story right there.
But he definitely tried to run over those two dudes in the beginning because they broke his windshield or his side window, one of the two.
Yeah. I'll have to add Naomi and Kissy Cat to the mod chat later. Sorry about that, guys. But I mean, it is really interesting to me that Duck made so many. Duck's claims were. Whoops. Yeah, there we go. Duck's claims were just so weird to me because he's talking about like shards of glass and all this other bullshit. But Duck, you never answered. You only answered one of my questions, and basically, you admitted that I'm right. Like literally, these are criminals. The people who are rioting. You absolutely never gave me one reason why that these people who are acting as criminals are in your eyes just simple civil disobedience. So I got to be honest, man, that was the biggest L I've ever seen taken, and I've seen some big ones done.
Well, it ranks right up there with
just pure
Earl.
copium. Pure. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was saying that ranked right up there with I Killed Earl.
Oh yeah,
night.
with that rage quit. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm kind of sad that I don't get the big explosive rage quits. I just get the limp wristed.
Well, they're lefties.
Yeah, it's true.
They got no muscles. I mean, come on.
Actually, to be honest, I expected more out of Duck because he works out, man. He's trying to be all he can be.
I think I scared him, Grid. He couldn't handle a country boy.
Yeah. Yeah. The funny thing is that the rooftop Korean thing is like really, really like that's a real thing. I admire those guys so much too. Like they were like, no, not in our neighborhood. Go somewhere else. So Smoking Spaceman, you are a mod, but I'm not sure that you can give out permissions, but you can try. So
Smoking Spaceman gave me a link, actually.
Yeah, Smoking Spaceman has he has the power. But I'll just have to do it when I have a few minutes to the mods that are not yet there. Duck's vegan. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, that would explain a lot of it.
Yeah. The confusion, the lack of focus.
Sunken eyes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got like a David Thoreau thing going on there.
I was going to say maybe David Koresh.
Well, I like David Koresh. David Koresh actually, was, at least he stood up for something,
That's true.
Low T levels. That's funny. Could be. I don't know. I actually, so the interesting thing is that I'm not really sure that David Koresh was quite the villain that he was made out to be. I don't think he was like, he's one. I go back and forth on this because I've gone through the story a couple of times and now I know people that were there and, of course they're retired now, but and I go back and forth because when it all happened, I was like, fuck those Branch Davidians. What the hell's wrong with those people, man? They're guys got 8 wives and shit, and but I guess as the narrative was peeled back and the truth came out that Janet Reno just had a hard-on for basically anybody that bucked the ATF even a little bit, and she was just trying to make examples of specific types of people in the country. And Ruby Ridge is one of them. And, it was, as I've kind of learned these things and talked to people who were there and who, it's like the whole thing was a clusterfuck. Like they could have arrested that dude anytime they wanted to. He would have just shown up at the sheriff's office. Like he did, like him and the sheriff were buddies.
Well, he was out jogging or something. They could have picked him up.
They were out walking around town. They
Yeah.
literally have video of him from like a traffic camera or something where he's just like walking around downtown with a couple of dudes, and they're just like, they went to the store, they go to this store, it's just like walking around downtown America back in the day. People don't do that anymore, but back in the day, that's how they did that. And yeah, that's right. Janet Reno and the FBI used flashbangs as smoke grenades where they didn't need to, and then set off the fire where the kids were being held, and
the
all
one
of that.
the one docu thing I saw that had people that were there inside that gave their account was that he had already spread gasoline, and apparently when they put in the incinerator or whatever, that's what
Yeah.
set off the gasoline.
Yeah. So William Joseph. See, the thing is that I think that what we keep learning is that he wasn't doing things to children. That was just an
Well,
excuse used by the ATF to go in there. What they were really after him for were weapons charges. He had a bunch of guns, and they didn't like that, and they thought that he was forming a militia, and the ATF were swinging their big dick around, and decided to go after him. So that I don't think I thought that it came out that he wasn't doing anything with those kids. No, that was
I've
the Ruby
seen-
Ridge guy. The Ruby
I've
Ridge
seen
guy
two
did the
versions.
shotgun.
One version had him as being a PDF,
Right. But I think
and
that's
then the
been
other
refuted.
version was about the gun. So I don't know which
Right.
version is right.
Yeah. He was.
Wendigo read the story about him with the shotgun that the
That's Ruby
undercover
Ridge. That's
tried.
I can't think
yeah.
of the guy's name now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about Ruby Ridge.
Yeah. So Ruby Ridge, yeah, that was a total setup job too. See, this is the thing is I talked to some people about David Koresh, who were in the law enforcement at the time and were peripherally involved, and they're like, yeah, we never heard anything about the PDF stuff until after they had laid siege, and then it was like released to the press, and the press ran with the story. There was no proof of it, none of that. I don't know that that's a real thing. I think it's been refuted. I don't know for certain. I would love to actually have somebody that knew more than me about it. But and I can't remember the Ruby Ridge's guy's name. It sucks like that I'm drawing a blank here, but that guy, he was a nobody. He was just a factory worker or a blue collar worker, and they had this informant, and this guy apparently bought and sold guns occasionally, right? Where
Wasn't that Randy Weaver?
Randy Weaver, yes. And Randy Weaver was just like any redneck. He'd buy a hunting rifle and he'd sell it over here to his buddy, and he'd buy something else and he'd sell it to that buddy. And the way that I've heard it from some FBI guys that were there is that this guy got wrapped up with ATF. He tried to do like a falsify a 4473, or he did something stupid, and the ATF got him hemmed up. And they said, hey, we'll let you go if you turn informant and you give us somebody bigger. And the guy says, well, I know this guy Weaver that deals in guns. And so, but the ATF goes over to buy guns, and all he's got is like hunting rifles and shit. So, and of course that's not going to stick. There's nothing illegal about that at all. And so they're like, hey, can you make us a sawed-off shotgun? He's like, no. And they're like, no, we really, really want to buy a sawed-off shotgun from you.
Right.
He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And they basically offered him so much money and put so much pressure on him and asked him so many times that finally he's like, yeah, all right, fine, I'll do it. And he cut the barrel off shotgun, and then the ATF had their case. And that was the only thing. And they basically entrapped this dude. Well, they didn't basically. They literally entrapped this dude into committing a federal crime. And instead of just arresting him, they go to his house because he's supposed to live in this compound, right? Which was really just like some. It was a little cabin, and they had like
in the woods. Yeah,
and they had like a couple of school buses that were like linked to it or something. So William Joseph, it's not illegal to sell guns. If and especially in states like mine, where I could go over to Chuck's house tonight and say, "Hey, man, I really like that rifle you got there. You want to sell it?" And he'd be like, "How much money you got?" You know, and that's as simple as the deal goes. And that's all Weaver was doing. Weaver was just being a redneck, and he was literally just selling hunting guns that he would buy through his buddies. And you know, like I guarantee you that Chuck knows at least a half a dozen dudes like that. He lives in Tennessee that we buy and sell guns like nothing. We give them as presents. And so Weaver, so that the entrapment part of it was pushing him and coercing him to cut the barrel off the shotgun, right?
They kept pestering him.
Yeah, it wasn't just that they asked him one time and he said no, and they asked him again. And he said, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it." It was literally like, and depending on the version you read, it was either weeks or could be, it was either weeks of time or it was, over several days. But it wasn't like they asked a couple of times. He said, "Yeah, I'll do it." It was they pushed him into it. And yeah, that's kind of true. Obama did do kind of the same thing. It's not really the same thing, but kind of the same thing. And then Weaver they could have arrested Weaver anytime. He would have come out if they had just told him, if they just said, "Hey, we got a warrant."
They shot the dog first, right?
They shot the dog first. That's right. They didn't come up there. They didn't drive up to his front door, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, you need to come with us."
They were sneaking through the woods.
They slipped in the woods, set up sniper nest. One of the snipers works for Troy Industries right now. To this day, he works for Troy Industries, and he is universally despised in the firearms community. I can't believe he still works there.
Didn't they shoot his boy in the back?
They shot his boy because they shot his boy because he didn't know who they were. He saw them shoot their dog.
Yeah, he shot the dog. The kid fired a shot because he didn't know what was going on. They shot his son. And then they shot his wife.
Yep. And then I think they shot his friend that moved
literally
into,
nothing. Literally nothing.
And he almost
no reason to do that.
And he almost bled to death. His friend.
Yeah. Literally, there's no damn reason for that.
His friend went up there to talk him out, didn't he?
No, that was no. That was I think a Vietnam veteran that had higher stripes that he knew in Vietnam. They called him to have him come up there too. He had a friend
once they killed his wife, they knew that they fucked up.
Watch Wendigo. He covered this really good. That and the Waco event that you guys are talking about. If you want more details, I'm not trying to advertise, but he did a really good job of breaking down everything, going over the details and everything.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to give his channel, but I just was going to say he did a really good job.
I'm shocked that to this day, I'm shocked that Janet Reno's not in jail.
Because
what she did was just so criminal. It was just absolutely criminal. What Obama did to the Bundy family was kind of bad.
Murder. That was just murder there.
Well, yeah, but it started out over, they BLM had been leasing him this land, and then they said they weren't going to lease it to him anymore. And then I guess there was supposed to be like a land sale, and they either reversed it or reneged it or something like that. And basically he was going to lose all of his cattle grazing.
Yeah.
And basically is going to decimate his herd, like his entire living. Right. I mean, people don't understand it. This is how people make money. Right. And, a cow doesn't look like anything, but it's worth a shit ton of money, So,
Well, especially when that's all they know.
yeah,
That's their life.
yeah, and yeah, the Bundy the Bundy Ranch ordeal was quite interesting. I didn't actually watch that one as closely, but yeah.
Hey, Grid, I'm going to jump
man.
down. I just wanted to
Sure, man.
talk about that. Thanks for having me, but
Yeah,
I'm going to
absolutely.
rage
Yeah, no
quit.
problem.
Rage
Yeah,
quit.
rage quit
All
for
right.
me.
Okay. See you,
Yeah.
K2.
Yep. Caldy, I sold a gun in a diner before. I've sold it in mostly I like parking lots. The parking lot of Sportsman's Warehouse, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, Lowe's. If I
Parking
have
lots
to.
are good.
Parking lots are great, but
I
not in
don't
the
want to
parking lot
come.
of a gun store. There's this
No,
weird thing where
that's bad. That's bad.
you don't do that because so if any part of the sale happens in a on the property of a gun store and you don't do a Formula 4
Yep, FFL
Form
or
4473, you've committed a crime.
correct.
And so do not do that. Don't do it.
And the owners kind of frown on it anyway because you're doing business. You're taking business from them.
Yeah.
On their property.
So I bought guns from gun store employees, and we would have to go to the parking lot next door to do
Correct.
the deal because you know otherwise you're committing a crime. And pardon me, but I'm a huge gun guy. I've bought, sold guns, long time, and but I've had the cops come up. I was doing a deal one day. I was trading a Glock 40, not the number 40, a Glock 40 caliber, which is a Glock, was it 23, I think, and for an 870 shotgun. I needed an 870 shotgun, or it was an 870, or it might have been an 1100. It doesn't matter, for a shotgun. And so I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the shotgun, and he's the dude's looking at looking at the pistol. Guy comes up, this cop comes rolling up, and we all see him, we're like sitting there watching him drive up. The guy comes up and says, "Hey, had a report of, people with guns over here. What's up?" "Yeah, we're doing a deal. I'm buying this, we're trading this pistol for a shotgun." And he's like, "Yeah, all right, cool. See you." And they just drove off. Like,
around here, everybody opens carries around here.
Yeah. I open carry quite a bit.
But nobody even blinks an eye. Nobody runs off scared.
Yeah, most people don't even notice. I remember one time I went to dinner at Applebee's in Colorado. I was in Fort Collins, and I had a HK on my hip, and I went in, I sat down, had my meal, came back out, and no problem. And people just don't notice, right? They just don't, unless they're bad people. What's up, John Bozeman? Good to see you.
If you don't super advertise it, like you're walking in there like
never open carry because I don't want to be the first guy
Rambo.
shot. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So here's the thing, though. Most of the time when a criminal sees a guy with a gun, they turn around and go the other way. They don't want anything.
And now we don't even need a permit to conceal carry anymore.
Nope. And we're getting really close to not needing any paperwork or anything for suppressors, and that's going to be a really good deal for Tennessee because, and I'm sure you know this because you've been here a while, but when I grew up here in Tennessee, we didn't have gun ranges because you just went out to we just went out to uncles or grandfathers or wherever, and we would shoot. We'll go out to the local quarry. We go out and shoot in the quarry, no problem. Nobody cared. Now, because of all the construction and a lot more fencing than I remember, it's hard to find a place to just go shoot. And so, and there are only so many ranges around. So, like I have property that I shoot on, but it's getting to where occasionally I get people calling in complaints. But if I have and so we shoot suppressed there. But, and what that's really going to mean when suppressors are literally, you know, $100 with no stamp, no paperwork, no nothing, it's going to mean that, you know, anybody, you yourself, you can go down and get a suppressor and put it on your rifle, put it on your handgun and shoot and not annoy every damn body.
Well, I know I bought this house from I didn't know it at the time, but he was an FBI agent.
Oh, nice.
And he had only been here for 2 years, and he family emergency, he had to move. And I didn't know it, but out back he had a rifle lane and a pistol lane already set up. So that worked out good for me. Yeah. Now when I lived in Illinois, forget trying to own a gun up there.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. When I was in Colorado, I had a friend of mine with a farm, and they had taken the backhoe and they had dug out,
made a berm,
a shooting lane. And so if you looked at it, if you looked across, you couldn't see anything.
Yep.
It just looked flat. But you drove out there to it, and you would see that even though the land looked flat, it did taper down because there was a creek bed on the other side.
Like an oil change pit.
And it's like an oil change bed, except it was 100 yards long. And and it took them probably 3 hours with the backhoe, and we shot there all the time. And
that's a good noise suppressor too.
It did. It really helped with the noise. William Joseph says, when I open carry, I have to be extra aware. You saw that guy at the gas station who got his gun taken off of him by some teens. No, I have I use a retention holster to start with, so you're not getting that gun off.
Me too. Me too.
And
you're taking me with it.
Yeah. And even when I don't, I think there's a presence that you have when you're open carry that most people have or should have when they're open carrying of, hey, don't even try it, because I am aware. I actually I've read a bunch of psychology on gunfights and that sort of thing. And one of the things that a guy who's avoided a bunch of gunfights has said is that if you look, the people, especially guys who are maybe looking side eye at your gun, or, that maybe looks like maybe they're a little bit too interested in you, like maybe they might try something. If you just look them in the eye and let them know that you see them, they're like really, really not, they lose a lot of interest in being part of the experience.
Program. Yeah.
So, I guess I'm just not that William Joseph. I talk to people about my gun all the time. People come up and say, "Hey, what do you got?" And I'm like, "Well, I've got this, and this is what it is."
And I never pull it out.
Yeah, well, I used to be in the gun. I used to be in the gun store all the time, and people are like, "Hey, what are you carrying?" And I would literally tell the guys behind the counter, I'm like, "Hey, I'm drawing my gun. Don't fucking shoot me."
Yeah. I'm talking about at a gas station or something. I'm not taking it out.
Yeah, don't fucking shoot me. And because they're not used to people just in the gun store just randomly drawing their pistol out. So I would pull, I would pull the gun out and unload it and show people and then put it back together and
Well, our little gun store
Joseph, I disagree with you. I think that more people should open carry. More people should 100% go armed, show that they're armed, and shine the light of, we aren't going to take this shit onto the miscreants in this world. The problem is that people are too busy hiding the fact that they're armed, and I think that that's a big mistake. And I understand all of the reasons. I've listened to John from Warrior Poet Society talk ad nauseum about it, and I don't care. You don't need teens carrying guns. I don't know. My teen could carry a gun; he'd be fine. So I think that's a bad idea.
As long as they're trained.
Yeah, I don't care.
I know our little gun store here. They got a clearing set up to clear your weapon before you enter the store. They prefer you clear your weapon before you enter.
Sure. I don't like clear. So I'm very used to clearing a weapon. I do it all the time, on the clock, off the clock, whatever. So I'm really familiar. I'm really, really concerned when other people do it, because I don't think most people handle their gun often enough.
You do it yourself. They have you do it yourself outside.
Yeah, but I mean, even like I know the average person that carries a gun, a lot of times they load it once a year. They shoot it twice a year. They just go to the range once before they need to qualify, if they have to qualify for a CPL or whatever. And and then maybe they shoot it at Christmas or something just for the fuck of it. But I'm one of those people that I would rather those people not handle their gun around me, because they make me really fucking nervous.
Oh yeah, I can understand that.
And I just, but I mean, so I just be super honest about this. Part of the competition I do, one of the things that I do, one of the preferred ways of abandoning a gun in IPSC is cleared, which means mag out, round ejected, slide forward, hammer down, and I throw it in a bucket. And I do that on the run. Like I can literally clear my handgun at a dead run.
Right.
And it's completely safe. But I don't trust other people to do that. And I've seen people that pull the, that will, I've seen people rack the slide with a mag in it, where if they just let go of it, it would strip around it. Where it would strip around it. And I've watched them do it, where they're like, they want to slide it back, lock the slide back, drop the mag, and and I'm like, again, I'm, look, unless I'm really aware of your proficiency level, I would just rather you just keep it in your holster. I don't want you to clear it. Just leave it in your holster. Don't touch it, and I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've seen people drop the mag and think they cleared it.
Yeah.
Like, no. Check that chamber, dude. Check that chamber.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I also don't agree with any kind of mandatory training. I think that I understand why everybody wants it to be a thing, but I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it because a couple of reasons. First, it gives someone the opportunity to say, no, you can't. Right? Because they just don't like the way you do something. And I don't like that. I think that's bullshit. The second thing is I think it adds a false sense of security, and I don't like
to the person. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm certified. Well, there's a lot of people licensed to drive that shouldn't fucking drive a car either. So
Amen.
The idea that a license is somehow great is wrong. So I would prefer that people carry and become familiar with it, because it's a dangerous thing. Just like I become familiar with the hammer, with the power hammers I use. I become familiar with a circular saw because it can cut my fucking hand off. I become familiar with these things because they're dangerous, not because there's a law saying that I need to know how to operate a circular saw. I just prefer that my fingers remain attached.
Yeah, because you don't want to wait till the time that you actually need it and then go start
Yeah.
second guessing what you're
Yeah.
supposed to do.
Right. And so I think anytime you have mandatory anything, quality sucks and people take it less seriously because once I have the card, they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I tested out, so I'm good. I'm an expert.
yeah, I'm good to go. Never have to look at it again. So, Kissy Cat, you say that you should not drive. I don't disagree. I don't.
Well,
I don't know that I disagree with
females
that. I know a
females
lot of women
shouldn't
that say that.
drive. Yeah, females should not drive.
But yes, I mean it's built to be a passenger princess. That's hilarious.
A passenger princess.
I have, but yeah, I mean, I just disagree with a lot of the. I disagree with a lot of the, what I consider to be the, people pleaser firearms community. They're the ones that want to. They're the ones that conceal, so that you're not showing people your big scary gun all the time. They want permitting for fucking everything. They're okay with it, right? They're the ones that think that they're okay with some people not being allowed to have a gun because having a gun is a great responsibility. And I think I look at having a gun as the same level of responsibility as having a circular saw or a pair of fucking hedge trimmers.
Or a car.
A fucking pair of hedge trimmers will fuck you right up. I'm telling you. So, but I don't know. And it's not a popular point of view. I'm not saying that anyone's going to go along with what I'm saying. It's just the way I think about it.
How the hell do you put DEF in your fuel tank? Was it a diesel or a gas?
What? Wait, what?
Oxy put DEF in her fuel tank.
Well, that's bad.
I think.
I think that's bad. Mister, how the hell are you, sir?
Good. I just I thought you'd be interested in seeing something.
Yeah, man. Throw it up.
So
It's not gang sign, is it?
No, I just can't. I tried to put it in the back. Like, there's no back chat where I could drop the link, or I could put it in the
where it
Discord,
says
right?
private up there. On your.
Oh, go into private.
Yeah, it says
Private chat.
Yeah, throw it right there.
Oh, she put diesel. She put diesel in her.
You put diesel in what? In your DEF tank? Who cares? That's fine.
In a gasoline car.
Wait, you put diesel in a gasoline car? That's hilarious.
That's what she said.
So what this is?
She said, I did a woman brain and poured DEF in my diesel tank. $13,000 mistake.
Oh,
yeah.
Yikes.
So I had a 2014 or late 2013 Dodge single rear wheel 2500 Cummins. It was the new DEF motor, Blue Tech, I think is what they called it. Whatever, doesn't matter. And it was a lease vehicle, and that piece of shit was in the shop more than I drove it. It was always something going on with it. It would lose power. It would start juddering. It was all electronic. It was all, because it was new. It was a new system. And so I'd take it back to the fucking dealer and they'd give me a loaner and all that. So, I go out and, I get it back after it's been in for like 2 weeks. Again, it's the DEF system. Something about the programming just was off. So I get to a stop sign and I kid you not, I'm not even 10 miles from the dealership. I get to a stop sign and I can hear the regen cycle start, which it's not supposed to do. So I can hear it start as I'm sitting at a red light and I'm like, wait, this is not supposed to happen. But I'm thinking, what's the worst that can happen? I tell you what'll happen. It melted down sitting at the fucking stop sign. It just shut off. And so I'm like, I call a guy up. Hey man, send a wrecker. This thing's broken again. He's like, really? You just left? And I'm like, I know. I'm like, I ain't even made it home yet. So they send the wrecker out. I have to ride back and get another loaner. And he's like, hey, we'll get it back to you in a week or so, man. I'm really sorry. We'll put it you're first on the list. I'm like, you're going to have to put a motor in that thing. He's like, nah, man, it's probably just more electrical shit. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty fucking sure you're going to put a motor in that thing. It sounded like hell when it shut off. And sure enough, he called me in about a week and said, hey, man, just come on down and pick out another truck. He's like, just come on down.
I had bought I think it was a 1984, the first year they came out, a Ford Aerostar, their minivan.
Yeah.
And I was driving. It didn't have that many miles on it, less than 20, maybe 25,000 miles on it, if that. And I'm driving home one day, and all of a sudden, it just quit. I got it off to the side of the road, and I called up the dealer. They came and got it, took it in, and they opened it up. Ford had got a hold of some substandard head bolts.
Oh.
The head bolts on both heads broke.
Oh, that's not good.
And as soon as they fixed it, I traded that son of a bitch in for General Motors.
I wouldn't want that thing anymore either. Yeah, K2 says that now that on the newer trucks, it'll regen while you're going down the road. Now that's crazy. Because you know what it's doing when it's regen.
Mine does that.
Does it really? Does your EGT spike?
Yeah, I could tell what the soot level is. Also, what was I gonna say? I got this annoying freaking camera in my truck, and it has a female voice, and it tells me it like when I'm distracted and I just want to freaking punch it. It's like distracted.
Does it say speeding?
Of course I'm
also
distracted. I'm listening to you whine. That's funny. Yeah, that was that Dodge was that's actually what soured me on Dodge. Was that Dodge and all the I had so much trouble with that thing. And
I got a 2023 Kia Carnival. It's a minivan, for lack of a better thing to call it, and it's got a crash avoidance system on it.
Oh yeah, where it'll stop.
No, it will turn the steering wheel and lunge the car in the opposite direction of where it thinks the crash is at.
Yeah.
And twice it almost got me in big wrecks because the one time was gonna put me in a ravine. The other time it was gonna put me in the head on traffic.
I was driving a Toyota of some kind. I actually don't remember what the fuck that thing was. Maybe a Corolla or Camry. I don't know. But it has that lane avoidance. It has lane avoidance and accident avoidance. And if somebody brakes in front of you, it applies the brakes and it flashes a huge red light on your dash. And if you're just like rolling along and you try and change lanes, it will fight you.
Yes.
I'm like, what the fuck? Who thinks this is a good idea?
This is what happens when I get too close to the signal on.
Yep.
Yeah. If I get too close to the side, it does this. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I get the sound to go off.
You're gonna make a liar out of him this time.
By the way, Kissy Cat wanted you to know that you have an AI truck wife.
Yeah.
Nagging you. Grumble Stillskin, you're right. If you buy a Cummins 12 valve 5.9, you get a Dodge truck free with it because the engine's worth more than the damn truck.
Really?
And the truck is going to fall apart around it anyway. So, my favorite truck, one of my favorite trucks I've had was a Ford F550 Cummins swapped with an Allison transmission. It was all three manufacturers, the best of everything they had.
That's a big ass truck.
It is a big truck, and I had a C3500 dual rear wheel that had the Duramax with the Allison. I've had multiples of those. I love those trucks. I have put. I had two 2004s. I had an extended cab and I had a crew cab. I put over 300,000 miles on those trucks and never had a single problem except for injectors, which were the injectors sucked. You know, it was like, you know, it's almost $1,000, $1,200 every time you did injectors. There at the end, they were getting to be like $2,000. They're expensive.
Ooh.
And, but you did them every like 150,000 miles. It was a tune-up. I was just doing a tune-up, just like any other thing. And and I did, and that was it. And I had I've been coast to coast to Canada. I've been all over the place with those trucks, and I could set the cruise control of all the trucks I've owned. That was the only truck I could set the cruise control at 80 miles an hour with my 52-foot trailer behind me, and just let it roll.
Wow.
And it would sit there and roll at 80 miles an hour. I love that truck. I had a newer one. I had newer ones, and I liked those, but they had the def. They had all the shit I didn't like. And they cost a lot of money to get the extra power out of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, ain't nothing cheap nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But they're, you know, within limits, you know. I had
So
go ahead.
I was going to say that link that I put in the back chat, it was about the immigration thing. So that was the congressional oversight hearing, December 5th, 2024. They had the Census Bureau in there admitting that they count illegals in the census
for congressional districts.
Yeah, and as a result, they get extra House seats. So I just thought that you'd want to take a look at that because it's crazy.
What do you think about that congressperson coming out and saying that she's an illegal?
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm going to show you guys. This is one of my favorite trucks.
She should be removed from office immediately. She's not eligible.
So that's the truck. There's a trailer.
Son of a bitch. My God.
Yeah, it was longer than my semi. My semi was 48 foot and this was 52.
Good Lord. That's a big ass trailer. Is that what you hauled your cars around in?
That was one of my race car trailers.
Yep. Knew it.
I held 3 cars in there. So there are no horses in that trailer.
No, that's not a horse. That's definitely not a horse trailer.
No, just cars. Normally I had 2 race cars and a high jet and a bunch of toolboxes and shit like that.
Well, what did you think about the president of the Mexican Senate yesterday, day before, talking about they want their land back?
Yeah, fuck those guys. I mean, honestly, that would be great because then we could just go to war. Once we declare war, then the rules change.
Well, their president's the one that said we're going to mobilize to help the protesters.
Yeah, let them do it.
I had
You know,
to
it's
check the
interesting.
news if I ran. I read another story that we sent some B-2s over there too to Iran to help
yeah, that's
the Israelis.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got problems everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is. Naomi, you think you want a semi until you own a semi. So I had, before I had this big red trailer, I had a semi, and I could hold 6 cars in it. It was a pretty good rig. It was an older cab over Freightliner. It had an Eaton 13-speed and a Detroit 60, and it was the version of the Detroit 60 that if you use cruise control, it gave you like an extra 50 horsepower or something, which made passing a lot easier. And it was a great truck. The problem with semis is they cost money sitting still. Like,
Yes.
I actually kept it over at Freightliner in Denver, and because they had plenty of parking room. And I was always paying those bastards to like blow out the air lines, put the batteries in, take the batteries out, start it, warm it up, check this, check that, all this stuff. And I'm like, God almighty, this, like, every month I get a bill, like every month. And I'm like, the thing just sits. It's like this, but if you let it sit and you don't take care of it, you're fucked.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
You're fucked. I did that. That's why I paid the bill with, just a little bit of bitching, because when I first got it.
Those vehicles are made to be on the road nonstop.
Yeah. I had so I learned my lesson. I had, and I'm sure Mr. is going to laugh his balls off at this, but so when I first got it, we finished up the season in September, October, or something like that, and I parked it. And I didn't even look at it again until like February, March.
Oh boy.
And the brakes were frozen up. They had corrosion in the brake system because of the fucking water that got in there.
The moisture, yep.
Yeah, the moisture. The brake lines had all been blown out, lubed. A bunch of other shit had to be done. And it was just, it was just like, it was like 2 or 3 days worth of work to get that fucking truck to run.
Like doing an overhaul on it every time you want to go somewhere.
I mean, it wasn't, but at the same time, it kind of was. It was like fucking everything it could go. But the biggest thing was like the brakes, man. Like the batteries. One of the batteries went bad, but I had to replace the entire set of 3 or 6 or however the fucking many batteries it had. And so that was, that's like $800 right there. Just bam, batteries. I was like, fuck.
I remember my brother was my oldest brother was a truck driver. He was 65, and he was out in the Rocky Mountains, and he went off a cliff. And the only thing that saved his life was a state cop seen him go off. Well, they got him out of there, and he had broke his back. And they told him, well, you're going to be here for 9 months. Yeah. 2 weeks later, he was back at home. He was that damn stubborn.
Yeah. Like I said, the semi it cost money sitting still. You couldn't leave it parked for any length of time. And it was always a pain in the ass.
Oh, that's like in the
those brakes.
Deuce and a half, same way. You don't drive it every day. So if you didn't go out there once a week and do what you're talking about, run the systems around and blow them out and everything. If you let it sit more than a week and you tried to go out there to go somewhere, it wasn't going because that moisture would seize up.
The brakes, they it happens in the winter, but it can be dangerous because you think you want to move, and it, I use like a rubber mallet or whatever, and I have to like hit it, but it can seize up, you don't know you're like pulling forward, and as soon as you hit them loose, the whole thing moves, and you can get ran over easily.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You have to hit them with a hammer and and so after the first year, I was like, well, I'll just keep it over at Freightliner. Freightliner is as part of their deal. They have a massive amount of parking, and they would let us. They rented places to park. I guess I don't know if we actually paid rent or if we just kept it over there and we just had a kind of a contract with them to make sure the batteries stayed charged and the brakes didn't get fucked up and all of that. So they would drain the diesel out because there was a lot of the diesel in Colorado at that time was mixed biodiesel, so you could let it sit in the tank.
It's separate. Yep.
And so they would pump out the tanks. It was just like a never ending thing with the semi. And I didn't have a CDL, so most states I could drive the truck fine as a camper, but
right.
In California, and there's like 3 states that they're really strict about it, and California is one of them, and they would be like, no, you can't, and it's a $600 ticket. And I was like, fuck that. That's dumb.
Well, who drove your truck then?
So I'd hire a guy, and I paid him to drive the truck.
Okay.
I'd have to hire a driver. So the amount of money the semi kept costing me was like a lot. And I was like, yeah, this sucks. I'm doing this. So I went back to a dually where any idiot can drive it, right? Because it's a dually. And, it was not the best answer because the trailer, we were putting so many miles on these trailers and they just weren't really meant to do that. And, the trailers lasted probably 3 years, 4 years before they were useless.
Yeah.
And then, especially once you get over 40, once you get over 44 feet, 48, 50, 52 feet, that's a big fucking trailer.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And the funny thing is that you have to plan where you're going to stop. Like it's only truck stops. Like you do not stop at a gas station.
Oh, hell no. You could see that in that picture. If you tried that, you'd be stuck.
Yeah. Well, we did try it a couple of times. So.
All right, Grit. I'm going to jump off here because you said you got to get
I'm getting
up
out of here too, man. I normally finish at 11 and it is 10:56.
All right. Well, you have a great night and good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, you too, Chuck. You have a great rest of your evening and good having you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great time tonight. We did have a little bit of a good spirited back and forth, Duck and I, who Duck took so many L's that I wasn't able to count all of the L's that he took, but he took a lot. And that's just the way it works when you're messing around with me. It was a great chill night. Really appreciate everybody coming out and supporting the show. I don't know if I will make tomorrow afternoon show, but I will be on for the debate, and I may be late to the debate, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not too bad. So keep an eye out tomorrow, right around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we'll make the magic happen. In the meantime, as always, be cool, wear glasses if you need them, and get off my lawn. See you guys.